All right, y'all. Here we are. Welcome to the Better Black Life Podcast. I am your host, Brother Clarence. And I told you, as promised, I told you I had him coming. Who did I have coming? Black Life Podcast. Uh-oh, I got something going on over here. Let me get on my other computer. All right. So I told you, I told you I had him. Who is he? Who is he? I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna show you, give you a little taste of the brother and his his talents, man. Very talented young brother, man, coming to the stage. Um, what's going on with my computer? Try to share the screen, brother. Okay. Oh man, come on, man. Oh man, I'm locked up, man. I'm locked up. I'm locked up. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I'm locked up. Let me see if it's gonna work with me over here. Oh man. Oh man. Hold on. I can't believe it. I got locked up, man. Hold tight, everybody. Hold tight. I'm gonna have to switch computers here. Hold tight. All that time I was waiting, I had no problems. Ay 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 ay. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this. Let me just switch to another computer for right now. I'll figure out what happened later. All right. Yeah, let me get in there right now. Okay. All right. Oops. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. It is one of them days. This is one of them days. This is one of them days. Hold on, brother Eric. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Hold on. All right. I had plans. Hold on, y'all. I don't know. Is it the Streamlard trying to trip? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. That's what I want. Okay. I want to play that. Okay. So let me play a little of this.
Storm credit shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again. Rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound. And I shoot quick and it ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, free straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys out, spraying them.
All right, all right, all right. I want to give y'all just a taste. Can't give y'all the whole game, but I give y'all a taste of my man. I mean, he be spitting that stuff on you, man. With a big round of applause from my people out there. Please welcome my brother 16 to life in the building.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on, brother?
Oh man, I'm just chilling, brother Clarence, and I appreciate you for having me, man. It's a blessing.
Hey,
it's an honor.
I appreciate you, man. It's an honor from me to you, brother, because you have a very unique story, man, and I appreciate it, man, and I know you get probably a lot of offers to come on podcasts and stuff like that, and for you to consider us, man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, brother. So we had we went through a lot to get this going, man. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it, man. I'm gonna get it going because I had actually another appointment I had to get to, but I had to push that one back. But I know it's gonna be worth it, brother.
Thank
Okay,
you. I appreciate it, man.
yes, sir. Okay, so brother, um, how, first of all, where are you from, man? Where's your family from? Where you from, man?
I'm out of a town in well, I'm from California, out of a small town by the name of Banning, California, in the county of Riverside. So it's maybe probably about 30 minutes away from Palm Springs, and maybe about an hour and a half away from LA.
Okay, okay, and so you grew up out there in Banning. How long did you stay out there before you ended up getting out of there, or how was your family? Was it tight family, or how did that work?
Well, I was born and raised in Banning, California, and yeah, it was a tight family. My mom and pops they divorced when I was about maybe 2 or 3 years old, but my dad he just moved maybe about 5 minutes right around the corner. So they was, excuse me, they was together on and off. So it was almost like they wasn't divorced. And so my dad, like I say, he lived right around the corner. I had one older brother, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, man. So coming up as a youngster, man, was it rough out there in Banning, or was it was it cool? How was it going coming up out there, bro?
Oh, Bannon is cool, and I was born in the 70s, raised in the
Okay.
80s. So Bannon was a family oriented community, man. Everybody knew everybody. It was one of those towns where, if I was up the street doing something wrong, I'd get a whooping from Miss Smith. And then by the time I'd get home, she didn't call home, and I got another
Right.
whooping. It was one high school, so we all, we went to school together. We went to church together. We saw each other at the
Ah,
basketball game. So it was just like,
right.
the majority of people who I graduated with in 89, I probably had been going to school with since 75, 76, So it was real close-knit community.
Okay. Right on. Right on. Right on. And coming up, man, did you have any like I don't know, sports heroes, or any kind of
Uh,
heroes out there in the streets?
Well, I think, being in California, man, I think we all was Magic Johnson fans back in
Right.
those
Yeah.
days. I definitely used to rock with the Lakers. They still my team now. And just like a normal childhood, man, just growing up, back then for cats who grew up in the 70s, we didn't have a whole lot of people who look like us on TV, so
Right.
very different from today. So we were definitely more I would say there was more racial pride, and
Right.
just that type of stuff, man. Just real close growing up, just a regular childhood type of living.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that sounds awesome, man. Okay, so you coming up, man, and everything's all good. Okay. At what point do you look at uh hustling and you say, man, maybe I might want to try that. Maybe I want to get into that. Or
Well, I would say around the age of 14, 15. And now as I look back on it, I think it's something that, that happens slowly and gradually before we even realize it. One of my friends, David, one of my older friends, and the crazy part about this is this dude would be considered a square. He wouldn't go to the hood part of the town, but he happened to have some weed. He was a little older, and he knew that because now my father, he stays on the east side. My mother, she stays on the south side, which the east side is the where it's cracking and stuff going on. So
okay.
my buddy, he knew that I hang over there, would be over there. So he said, you think you can get rid of some of this weed for me? And so it gradually started like that.
Ah,
Started selling the weed, and that really didn't work out. You know how when you're young, everybody taking advantage of you. Hey man, that stack ain't big enough. Take some out of this and put some more in. You know, so that was a start of my hustling, man. But actually, now that I think about it, I always was hustling because I used to take we'd go to Smart and Final and we'd buy the Now Laters, big
okay.
old bag of them and take them to school and sell them. They might have been 250 or whatever. And we'd take them to school and sell them for a quarter and this and that. So I'd always been doing that.
Right, 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 right. Man, let me read what he chats, man. One of my hardcore soldiers is in here, man. Sister Don. I don't know why everything is going so slow, bro. Man. Oh, here we go. Okay. Evening, Brother Clarence, Sister Don. Evening, Brother Clarence was passing through to show support, but those first bars were so powerful. So I'm listening. Oh man, this brother, you know what? Only thing I gotta get him I gotta get some clean versions of his music, man. If I can get some clean versions of his music, man, I could play it. I could play all of it, man. Oh my gosh.
Well, real quick for those who may not know, like I do a YouTube channel, man. I was locked up for 24 years, and if you go in and you type in the number 16 DA life music, a lot of my music will pop up. But now, Brother Clarence, I do have some clean songs on there. I have a
Okay.
song called The Revolution. I have a song where I'm talking about the beautiful sisters. It's called The Queen. I have a song called By Your Side or By My Side. It's talking about how my mom stuck by my side the whole entire 24 years I was incarcerated. So those are
Okay.
more of the nice songs that you probably can, play the whole entire version.
Okay, and bruh, let me tell you, if you can give me a clean version of um relapse,
Right,
that's a wrap right there, man. If you
right,
man, I mean you done, man. If you put out a clean version of relapse, brother, you I
right.
mean, you know what I'm saying?
I'll have to hit the studio again and clean that up for you.
Man, bruh, that's a wrap. Cause I would like to use some of that music, man. And, you know, at least in my intro and outros and stuff, man. I think it's dope music. It now some of the lyrics, some of
Right.
the lyrics, brother Eric, might be, you know, saying could put us in question, but
Right.
man, as
So
far as
see, let
talent,
me let me break that down a little bit, right? What I was trying to explain in that song is basically, like I say, I've done 24 years in prison. So now I'm trying to come back to the streets a more humble person. But
ah,
the youngsters nowadays, they don't have that, they don't see, like I say, I grew up in a small town. So I grew up, calling people, older people, Mr. and Mrs., having respect. And so when we may see one of the homies' moms or somebody or grandfather come by, we gonna snatch our hats off. If we smoking weed, we
right,
gonna put that up. We gonna hide the beer, all that type of stuff.
right,
And today these youngsters don't have that respect. They're so it seems like it's cool to be disrespectful. And so
yeah.
that was where I was trying to go with that song. I was trying to say that y'all youngsters, please don't make me relapse. Don't make
I hear you.
don't make me return to that old cat.
I hear you, brother. I hear
Right,
you, man. You know, I'm just saying, man. I sit up here, you know, trying to. I'm doing the same thing you doing. I'm just talking to a different crowd, and
right.
so I'm just because you know what, bro, Eric. See, this is the thing, man. I got a lot of people that come in here and they washing dishes with their children or they fixing dinner with their children.
And I
So
understand, right,
you hear what I'm saying, right? So
right. So
that's the
it's
only
different.
reason why, you know,
No, I
grown folks,
understand it.
yeah, we could take it and
Right,
separate everything, but
right,
so that's what I'm saying. If you had a virgin for them and a
right,
virgin for us, brother.
right. And no, I commend you on that, right? Because that's one of the things that I noticed once I was freed. How nowadays you have a lot of people playing a certain type of music in front of their children, where our parents didn't do that in front of us. They would
Yeah,
make us leave, we'd get out of the room. They wouldn't even have certain conversations in front of us.
exactly.
And so that people don't understand that type of stuff corrupts a child. When you got a
Yeah,
5 or 6 year old, he's hearing f this, f that,
right.
in that. Eventually, he gonna
Right.
be saying
They
it,
don't know
and
how
the
to
parent wants to turn around and get mad at the child because of it, not
eat.
realizing you the person who put this child on the road to that. So
Right.
I definitely support that and believe in that
Well,
100%.
you see where I'm going, brother. You see where I'm going. So
Most definitely.
enough said, man. You said you're gonna go in the studio now. I'm gonna hold you to that, brother Eric. I'm gonna hold you
Right,
to
right.
that, man. All right, man. So we was at the at school. You was hustling right before you got into the the street narcotics game. You
Right,
was at school busting down now laters,
right,
making a profit,
right,
hustling however you could hustle. Okay. So now you hustling, you know, basically, you know, busting down whatever, you know, M&M, Skittles, whatever, right? And now you move on to the marijuana, right?
right, right,
Okay. Now, what grade or where were you at age wise at that point?
When I was hustling the marijuana, I would probably say that was probably about 87, maybe summertime 87, somewhere around there. I was probably about 15, 14 or
Okay.
but I was probably about 15, 16, because I remember sometimes I would hide the marijuana in my I had a motorcycle and I would hide it in the compartment of my fairing. And so that probably had to be about maybe 15, 16, somewhere around there.
You had a motorcycle, brother?
Yeah, I had a 750, a maximum. I had a motorcycle driver's license as well. Because that's back then when you could go to school and they put you in driver's ed, and
That's right.
the driver's license. I had the driver's license and a motorcycle license around the age of 16.
Right on, right on, right on. You right, man. Man, there was that happened to me, man. They put four dudes in the car, right? They put three dudes in the car, and the teacher was be in the car. And the
Right,
teacher already knew where he wanted to go. Hey, stop at this liquor store right here, right? He
right,
already knew where
right.
he wanted to go, right? Yeah, man. I get you on that, man. Okay, so now you kind of just warming up. You kind of just warming up. You like, man, I might be able to make a few bucks doing this.
Right.
At what point did you say, I'm gonna take this? Well, hold on 1 second, brother. Let me get this. Let me shout out one of my people in the chat. Blind guy, his wife, their life. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. I'm always listening and lurking, but I'm chatting to say much love to the brother. Keep on the grind. Yeah, bro. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Corey and Queen. Appreciate y'all. All right, man. So at what point do you say to yourself, man, hey, you know what? Let me take this serious, man. Let me grind this out. Let me see if I can actually put some ducats together, some dollars together, rather.
Well, honestly, I don't necessarily think it was ever a conscious decision to do that, because from the marijuana, I started selling, crack cocaine when crack cocaine hit, but that was just something that I happened to see my older cousins doing, a couple of older friends, and it's like, you slip into something like, hey man, if you take this $20, the homie will give you a double up, you can make $40. And so,
Right.
it was just something that I started doing without putting a whole lot of thought into it. And the next thing I look up now, I'm a full-fledged drug dealer, but at the same time, like I say, by the city being so small, I'm trying to hide this stuff from my mom and my dad, because I definitely don't want them to know that I'm, selling drugs. And a couple of times my father drove up, he drove a motorcycle too. He would come up
Okay.
on the block, trying to see if I was out there. And of course I'd take off running and hide, because you know how Pops was back then, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
on the corner selling drugs, he to jump out and try to fight you. Your friends
Yeah.
gonna be clowning you and all that type of stuff. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Okay, so you kind of just slip into it, brother. So
right.
I'm trying to find out at what point did you like now you starting to treat it like a business. Now you're seeing that okay, yeah, I was making a little money here and there, but now I'm treating it like a business now. Now I'm just like, you know,
Right. Well, I don't think that point ever came until I actually went to Montana, because when I was in California selling drugs, I'm just basically doing it to keep a little bit of money in my pocket, here and there, because my mom, she was the type of mom who noticed I couldn't come home with a shirt that she hadn't bought. I couldn't come home with no
right,
shoes that she hadn't worn. I mean, that she hadn't paid for, because she know. So a lot of times I would buy Nikes and this and that, and I would hide it at my homeboy's house. Now my pops, he wouldn't notice none of that stuff. But my mom,
okay,
yeah, I ain't bought you them shoes. Where you get them from?
right, yeah.
So, like I say, I just really done it to keep a little money in my pocket.
Okay, so now you keep a little money in your pocket. Okay, so you still in California though, right?
Right, right.
Okay, so at what point do you make the decision? Okay, that you know what, I'm here in my mom's house, but I'm gonna venture out on my own, man. And I'm on and how did you decide on going to Billings, Montana? How did all the decision happen?
Well, that's just something that came. I always had family living out there in Billings, Montana. Actually, my uncle had moved out there. Excuse me, my uncle had moved out there on a football scholarship, maybe in the early '60s, '70s, somewhere around there. And then my aunt followed. So I had cousins out there that was my age. So fast forward to '89. I graduated high school. I got shot out there selling drugs, and just so happened I got shot maybe in September. My cousins from Montana came down for Thanksgiving. Uh, Came down to California to my grandmother's house. You know, we'd always have Thanksgiving at her house. They came down, and so they
Yeah,
said, "Hey,
man.
man, you know, you're not doing nothing. Come back to Montana and hang out." So I just happened to go out there, just basically, it was unplanned, just some spontaneous
Oh,
type
okay.
stuff. And I'm selling drugs in California, so I just continued doing what I was doing. Well, actually, when I got out there, one of my older cousins, maybe he was probably, I would say, maybe 6 or 7 years older, and we never hung out much because of the age difference. When
Right.
I get out there, he's selling he's selling drugs, he's selling cocaine, and my
Okay.
cousin my age, he's selling weed real big out there. So when I
Oh.
get out there, he must have pulled maybe about 15,000 out of a out of a cereal box. I'd never seen that much money before, because in California, I probably, at the most I had in California was probably about $400 or $500. But
Right.
once I get up here, my cousin James, he's selling marijuana. My other cousin Chris is a drug dealer. So I just gradually slid in that lane.
Right.
Through them by proxy.
Right. 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 Okay. So now, man, you your cousin say, "Hey, man, come on out here, hang out with us." And when you get out there, it's cats already out there in a dope game.
Right,
But was able. It was still a lane for you out there as well, right?
right,
Okay. So you get out there, brother. You set up your lane, and then you start working in your lane.
right,
Okay. Now, when you get out there, like a lot of times when brothers from Cali come to different places, especially in the dope game, dudes already got the area sold up, the territory sold up, so they got
right,
some little hostility, right? Was it
right.
any hostility towards you or anything like that?
Not at all, because Billings, Montana, it was no hood out there. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
Billings, Montana was, man,
wide
it was
open up.
it was wide open, man. It was laid back, and actually at that point in time, they hadn't even they really hadn't had a lot of people out there selling crack. They used to call it ready rocks. They were selling powder
Ah,
cocaine, and it may have
ah,
been 3 or 4 dudes in the town selling. Because Billings, Montana, in the terms of getting drugs out there, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know,
right,
so it's not like it's not like Miami or LA or Chicago,
right,
one of these major big cities where you have a lot of drugs, coming in at. So one
right.
second it would be a lot of drugs in the town, the next second nobody would have none. And so, it was only a few people selling drugs out there.
Wow. Okay. So you didn't have to worry about no pushback from nobody, no set or no hood or but nothing like that, right?
Yeah, none of that stuff. And actually, when I got out there, it was a dude out there from LA. I was initially buying drugs from him, at probably double the cost what they would go in California. And like I said, since they were selling powder cocaine, I had never seen no powder cocaine until I got out there. Because
Oh,
in California, we're selling crack.
right, right.
So eventually my cousin convinced me. He said, "Hey man, let's go back to Cali and we can get this stuff at a much cheaper price." And so eventually that's what we did.
Okay, so eventually y'all started muling the crack from Cali back over to Billings, Montana. Was it
Right.
was there a huge price difference?
Oh man, it was, hey, look, man, out there, when I left California, an ounce of cocaine was going for like 500-600. Out there, a half ounce was probably going for about 800. You know,
Wow.
and so
Okay.
I didn't even know. Like I say, I didn't know nobody in California that even sold powder cocaine. So when I come to find out, my next door neighbor, he's got it by the bundle. And so
Wow.
I started getting it from him and taking it back out there and just selling it in the powder form, because
Oh,
with the powder, you had people who were snorting it, you had people who were shooting it, and some people who they would put the powder and turn the powder into some type of paste form and smoke it through it. They put it on either like a Pepsi can, or they'd spread it on aluminum foil and add a little bit of water and get up under it with the empty roll from a toilet paper roll. And they would light the toilet the aluminum foil and smoke it. They had a weird way of doing it. And so, and like I say, they would be smoking they would add a little water to the powdered form, and they'd be smoking that. So from time to time, when I would rock the drugs up, they would just go crazy. And only and like I say, the bad part about that is then I wouldn't have no action at the people who, because you had a lot of people out there who shot drugs. So
Yeah.
I would prefer to just sell it in the powder form. That way they could get it and do it however they wanted to do it.
Okay. So what was the difference between people getting it in the powder form, people getting it in the rock form? What was the difference?
Well, like I said, with the rock form, so you couldn't shoot the people who like to shoot through the syringe, they couldn't shoot the rocks. You had and then they had a lot of pimps out there, and the pimps would they would snort it.
Yeah.
It was a recreational drug for them. They had a lot of pimps from Chicago, Milwaukee, Rockford, Illinois. And so like I say, by leaving it powder, then I could sell it to the people who like to snort, the people who like to shoot it, and the people who like to smoke it. They still could, because they was used to smoking the powder form anyway.
Right.
So I had
Now,
more clientele.
so was there a difference in your clientele? Was the difference in your clientele, like, was it a difference between the clientele that actually that uses the crack, or is it a difference between the clientele that uses the powder?
The clientele was much different from what I was used to in California, because you know how the crack cocaine in the late 80s and the 90s had tore through the community.
Right.
It turned them into like pure dope fiends out there, as opposed to they still saw those drugs as a recreational drug.
Okay.
And so a lot of times it was people with good jobs, a lot of rich white people. But over a period of time, especially once I started with rocking up from time to time, I gradually watched those people, unfortunately, their lives diminish too.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Okay. So hold on one second, bro. Let me hit some of these chats real quick. Blind guy, his wife, their life. That was my question, but nobody wants to mention government sources. Where was the source of the drugs? Hold on, brother Eric. I'm gonna let you answer that. Hold on one second. I gotta say what's up to my sister OG Patrice. OG Patrice, greetings, salutations. Um, okay, let's get to this question, brother. Let's take a sidebar real quick. Where was the source of the drugs? Where was the source of the drugs? So you said you was getting them in Cali. Now, in Cali, you had different sources, and you don't have to get nobody's name or nothing, but you had different sources of where you could actually get them from, right? And then bring
Right,
them back out here. Okay,
right.
okay, bring them back out to Billings, Montana. And the reason for that was the high profit that was in Billings, Montana for
Right.
drugs.
It was extremely more lucrative. Like I say, I could come out here, and at a certain point, I was when I was buying it in quantity, I would get an ounce for $300. Then
Okay.
I could take an ounce back out there and sell it straight across the table for $2,000, whole.
Holy smokes, man.
So, and in the event I happen to break it down, I probably could make off 1 ounce. I probably could make, just real quick off the math, probably about $6,400 at least, maybe
Man,
more than that, off something that I would purchase for $300 out here. So it was
man. I mean, that's
extremely
good
lucrative.
math to me.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's the situation, but that's good math to me. I
right,
can't deny that, man.
right,
Okay, brother Eric. So now you're out there in Billings, Montana, man. You're set up. You got your lane set up. You got your business kind of going, right?
right,
Now you're starting to meet people. So one of the characters I hear you talking about all the time is his brother Fox,
right.
right? Okay, so why don't you tell us the story how you met this brother Fox and who he is and what he used to do and about that brother.
Okay. So Fox is a pimp and a pickpocket up out of Fox was up out of Georgia. I can't remember if he was about a Macon or Savannah, but Fox was, he at the time he probably was about 35, 40. He dressed like the best way I can describe him, he dressed like Pops from the Wayans Brothers. And this polyester and all this old type of stuff, man. And Fox was an extremely amusing character, man. So it's crazy because when I got out there, Fox initially wasn't out there. You know, you had a lot of pimps who would come out there sometimes for the summertime. You know, Montana Billings is the hub of the rodeo days, and so they have people come out there for big rodeos and all that. You know, it's they want to ride bulls in the daytime and ride the women at night.
I got you. Okay.
So one day it just kind of like Fox appeared out of thin air, and I just noticed him. He would just be posted up in the corner at the bar, just chilling. He'd always have his hand on his face. He was just real quiet, observing. And then one day I seen him chasing. He was chasing this girl around the car. You know, he was chasing her around the car. I don't know what happened to transpire. And that's when I was like, man, dang, Fox is crazy. So then gradually I started hanging out with him. You know, he's a pickpocket, man. He likes to pickpocket, go in people's pockets, but also he used drugs. And that might have been our first introduction. He may have came to me, you know, asked to get some drugs, you know, and he was from the old school, man. So anytime he came to get drugs on credit, you know, he always kept his word, and he would, yeah. This is how he talk. Yeah, man, chill, man. Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, man. Let me get some of that stuff, chill, and just tell me what I owe you, man. Yeah, what I owe you. And so, you know, that was his thing, man. Just give me some of that stuff, man, and just tell me what I owe you. You know, let me know it, and I'm gonna come back and pay you. And he never once came and got nothing on credit without paying, you know. And so eventually, you know, and keep in mind, I'm still around 18, 19. So I'm intrigued by all this stuff, you know, all these pimps with all these big, you know, diamond rings on their fingers. Cause now these dudes, you know, they would dress regular during the week, but on Friday and Saturday, they would come down, you know, and dress to the nines. They'd had a 3-piece suits on and all this gold on and stuff. And so this stuff was intriguing because I, you know, like I say, I'm coming from a small town. I'd never seen this type of stuff. And so, you know, I started hanging with Fox a little bit, and man, there's times, you know, I'd see him jump on this woman, or, you know, he'd pick. One time I'll tell a funny story about Fox, man. I was gambling with this dyke by the name of Stella. We was gambling. Now, previously, Fox and Stella, now Stella used to sell drugs. So previously they had been cool. You know, they had been riding around and stuff, you know. So at some point in time, they stopped hanging together. I don't know what the reason. So one day we're in the bar, we're gambling. Me and Stella is gambling. Now she's only gonna shoot she's only shooting $5 a shot, you know. But she won't bet on the side point or nothing. She's up maybe about $80 or $90 at $5 a point, which is a whole lot of licks, you know.
Right.
Every time I get on the dice, I miss. She get on the dice, she'll run off 7, 8 points. So all of us, you know, and I'm a little upset. I'm telling her, bet on the point, you know, bet on the point. She won't bet on the point. So now at some point, Fox, he comes in, he stands up against the wall for a minute. Then he say, yo, chill. What's going on, man? I tell him, you know, I'm shooting dice, man. I'm trying to get my money back. He said, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, man. You know, then all of a sudden, so we shoot dice another 3 or 4 minutes. Then all of a sudden, he just say, Stella, surrender that money. What? And she said, I said surrender it. And I'm gonna leave the cuss words out.
Okay, right on.
Just looked up and he just slapped her, you know, slapped her real hard. And he said, I said surrender it. Then he reached in he had a jacket on, and he pulled out a big old giant butcher knife, you know. He slapped her and told her to drop the money. You know, she threw the money at his feet. Then he told her, you know, kiss my feet. Kiss my feet. And like I say, she was a dyke. She reminded me of a Mexican version of Peppermint Patty from Charlie Brown. That's what she looked like. And so, you know, he raised a knife and told her, kiss my feet. And she said, oh, come on, Fox. So then she kind of stood up to act like she was going to kiss his feet. Then she ran out the back. It was like we was at the back of this bar, and it was a back door, and she flew off the back door, man. And that's when I realized, oh yeah, this dude is crazy. You know, he was real funny to hang around with and stuff. And sometimes I go to his house, man, and he'd answer the door. He'd have all type of women up in there, and Fox was really a trip, you know. But he was also very intelligent, man. I was surprised that I would go to his house. He'd have a lot of National Geographic tapes and stuff. Now, keep in mind, these are from the day when you would have to order that stuff off them commercials and stuff.
Right.
So you'd have to, you know, go with a credit card, and I don't know if that's how he got them or whatever. But I was just intrigued by the fact that here's a dude, you know, who's a pimp and a pickpocket, and he can equate that type of stuff with, you know, with a person being a pimp. So he was very educated as well, you know.
Yeah, man. That's a good story, man, because you never can tell judge a book by its cover, man. You know what I'm saying? It's you know, you should at least give somebody the benefit of the doubt until they show you their hand. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, I enjoy always, man. I'm not gonna get him to tell all his stories about Fox, but if you really want to hear some funny stories, go to 16 to Life. Go to his. We're gonna put his information out there. Go to his page. He's got some funny stories about this brother Fox, man. It is so funny, man. You hear and you just go, man. But yeah, man. Okay, so you're out there in Billings, Montana, man. You hook up with Fox, man. You're out there and you got your business going. Everything's going good, man.
Right.
Did you decide to did you have a social life, or was you just about the money, or what was going down out there, man?
Oh, I had a social life too. I'm young, and then Billings. It's not. It wasn't a whole. I mean, it was enough. It was enough blacks out there, but it wasn't a whole bunch. But it was enough to feel comfortable. Because, like I say, they have two colleges out there. You had a lot of brothers who were out there on football scholarships or basketball scholarships or whatever, and then some of them would choose to stay after they're finished up school. So it was enough blacks, and then like I say, I'm young. They got a couple clubs out there, and um, they was really, I guess, the people from Montana was really infatuated with people from California, and so I brought a couple of my homies out there. I brought 3 or 4 of my homies up there, and it was fun. I'm running around, man, not working and just doing what I want to do every day. It was really, man, that was some really good times, to be honest. It was really, and that's why I so vividly remember so many of those stories, because I had such a good time that when I finally did get locked up, I would tell them over and over to people. A lot of people was always intrigued that I was out in Montana.
All right, bro. So you out in Montana now? Were you living by yourself, or were you living with your family, or what was you doing out there, man? As far as your living
Initially,
conditions.
initially, I was living with my cousin when I first moved out there. Initially, I was living with my cousin, and then me and him was so much alike, we really didn't get along. My cousin, the one who smoked weed, he was a roster, the one who sold weed, and I don't
Okay.
smoke weed. And so this dude would wake up all day with a joint in his mouth, and then just he smoked weed all day long. And even before I moved to Montana, when he would come to visit, me and him would we'd play along for about maybe 2 or 3 hours, then we'd be fighting. So we never really, we was oil and water to a certain extent. So eventually I moved out of the house with him and moved in with my older cousin who was selling cocaine. And so that's
Uh,
how I got into the cocaine game out there. And
ah,
from there, I moved and got my own apartment. And so
okay,
then my brother, he ended up coming out there. I brought some of my homeboys out there, and we were just out there having fun, man, just chilling, having fun.
okay. So I'm gonna get just a little bit into the business. So
Okay.
now, were you guys busting it down yourself? Or you already did you have a system for busting it down, or did you, like, when you were buying an ounce? Were you guys busting it down yourself, or did you have it already buy it and already bust it down? How was that
Oh
working?
yeah, well no, we'd get the ounce or whatever, and then out there they was selling well, it's called out there. They call it an 8 ball, which is 3.5 grams. And
Right.
so, of course, if you're sacking that up in the powder form on a scale, of course, 3.5 grams, you're only going to make $350 because it was $100 a gram.
Okay.
So, but of course, we're just eyeing it, so they're not getting a full weighed out gram. So initially, when I got out there off an 8 ball, which is 3.5 grams, we would make about $500.
Holy
So
smoke.
which was, of course, letting the people know. I mean, letting anybody know that like I say, the grams wasn't weighed out, but we were only selling, $100 a gram. But then later on, as more people began to start selling drugs, eventually people started selling quarters. Because at first, every time someone came for a sale, it was $100. We was only selling grams. So
Right.
eventually, off 3.5 grams, eventually I started sacking up like maybe $700-800 worth, which lets you know that the the weight started getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right.
So we would put it in this little like triangle looking paper. You'd cut these triangle papers up out of a notebook and then fold it. They call them bindles. You'd fold it like a little almost like a little envelope. And so
Right.
that's the way we would do it out there. Or in the event somebody wanted some weight, then we'd give them the weight, a gram, or I mean, excuse me, an ounce or a half ounce or something like that. But that's basically how we sold it.
Okay. So you out there, Billings, Montana, man. You got the program set. You're making money. You having fun. Um, when do you first run into law enforcement?
Um
I mean, in a serious charge.
The first serious charge probably I'm at a friend's house and hanging out, and he does that particular day just so happened. Now he sold drugs too. He was the guy who I was initially buying drugs from when I first got out there, until I started going to California. But me and him, we remained friends. And so one day I go to his house and he don't have any drugs. And so I'm over there. We used to play Tecmo Bowl and we're playing Tecmo Bowl and I'm making the drug sales. And he happens to leave to go get his girlfriend or do something. And just so happened his house gets raided while I'm in there.
Oh, man.
So I ran and tried to flush the drugs in the toilet. And so that was my first, major trouble with the law out there.
Okay, so when you got caught up out there, man, did it result in a lengthy sentence, or was it just a probation, or what happened?
Well, so I get caught in his house, and before that case can get resolved, they end up raiding my house, and so I caught another drug charge when they raided my house. So now I have 2 pending drug cases, and so once I go to court to get these cases adjudicated, the judge ended up, long story short, he ended up giving me some probation. He was supposed to give me 5 years probation, but the judge didn't agree to that. He ended up giving me 10 years, I believe. And see, what's cool about Montana is initially I pled guilty, hoping that the judge would give me this deal that my lawyer told me about.
Right.
When you go to court out there, the judge is not bound by that deal. So now in California, if something like that happened, if the judge don't want to go along with the deal, you can take your guilty plea back.
Oh, okay.
In Montana, you can't.
Okay.
And so when I went to court thinking that I was going to get the 5 years, 3 years from one case, 5 years from the other, they was going to run concurrent. The judge wouldn't agree to that. So the judge sentenced me to, I think it was like 10 years or something, but he suspended it all except for 60 days. So I had to serve the 60 days right then and there. And
wow.
So they took me to jail right then. So, if the judge wanted to, he could have gave me 20 years or whatever. And that's the cool part about it. Like I said, the judge is not bound by the plea that you thought you was going to get, and you can't withdraw your guilty plea. So now you're basically in court at the judge's mercy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think the feds are like that too, right? I mean, the judges ain't bound by nothing you sign. They ain't.
I'm not quite. I've never done any federal time. I'm not quite sure, but it's very well possible.
All right, brother. So now you get your probation, or you do your 60 days, right? So you do your 60 days, and are you back on the streets of Montana, or are you back in California?
Oh, I'm still in Montana at this point in time. I'm living in Montana. I got I had to get my driver's license changed. I got my cars out there and all type of stuff. So I'm officially living out there now.
Okay. So now that you're living out there and everything's good, everything's cool, at what point do you end up in California and then get caught up in the system over in California?
Well, it's in 93. And like I said, I would go back to California periodically to buy drugs.
Of course, right.
That's what I was doing this particular time. I was down there to purchase more drugs, and I went to a house party, and then I get caught up in the shooting.
Okay. So now you got a serious charge, right? So now, right. So did you get locked up that same day, or did they come and get you, or what? How that happened?
Well, initially, after this shooting at this party, I went on the run.
Okay.
And so I go back to Montana. The police pulled me over after about maybe a week being out there. I hop out. I get away. I run. So at this point in time now, I'm all over. I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm in Denver. Right. I'm going to different little spots, and eventually I get arrested about a year later. And by the time,
okay, brother Eric, hold on 1 second, because I want to get them. I want everybody to understand the mentality of people that's on the run.
Okay.
What were you thinking, man, that was going to happen, that was going to make this go away or something? Or what were you thinking when you was on the run, brother?
I was thinking it's all over. You know what I'm saying? I might as well just crash out. It's over. I'm going to jail, but I'm still selling drugs because I have some connections back in Montana. So I'm still sending large quantities of drugs back to Montana.
Okay.
I'm living differently because I'm running. So I'm definitely spending more, And I'm just thinking that, man, I'm going to jail. So eventually, just I mean, I'm pretty much, I'm young. I'm thinking it's over.
Right. And so you like, hey, I'm just gonna have fun while I'm out here, right?
Right, right. Just living, just basically living without any plans, really, just living day by day.
Okay, so hold on. Oh, Sister OG Patrice said she said you need a book deal. He need a Sister OG Patrice. He need a book deal. I know. I think he's got a bunch of stuff. And he's not gonna put it all out there, but I think he's got a bunch of stuff. But you're right, OG Patrice, and you ain't even hearing a quarter of the story. I mean, this dude got. If you really want to hear a lot of his information, I mean, you go to his page and check it out. But yeah, he does need a book deal. Okay, so yeah, because a lot of times we'll see people on the run, right?
Right,
Those of us that square people, we'll be like, what? Why is this dude on? They coming. What are you
right,
going on the run for, right?
right.
But like I said, give us the mentality of a person on the run. Do you think so? Do you think some kind of way you're going to get away, or
Well,
you just know it's coming?
well, I know it is coming, but I just don't know when. And to keep in mind also, I'm gang banging. I was a gang member. I was a Crip, and so
We didn't even get to do that. Okay.
right. So my mentality of a gang member is I'm never supposed to turn myself in.
Okay. Right.
They gonna have to catch me. Like when they pulled me over, in Montana and was searching me. I took off running. I'm not just I'm not you gotta catch me. And so I'm going from here to there. I'm just living, but like I say, I'm young, and so my mind is it's not as mature as it is today. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that okay, I got some people who are cooperating in the case. So I'm thinking that maybe if I can get back and take care of these people, I can eliminate this case.
Okay. Okay. So let's sidestep for a minute and get into the gang banging. Now, how and when did you kind of get into the gang banging thing in
Um,
Montana or in California?
Oh, in California before I moved to Montana, like
Okay.
I said, maybe around, I'm from a small town. And so I would say maybe around 82, 83. The influence of the Crips and Bloods
Right.
hit my town through, just older people going to maybe to, I had an uncle who had went to placement, who had also lived in Compton for a while. And, you
Right.
have other people moving out. So just the movie Colors, the influence just slowly
Right.
trickled down, and it eventually made it to Bannon. And once again, I think that most people join gangs, or at least back in our days before we had the social media and all that type of stuff, most people join gangs without even realizing it. It really
Right.
starts off as a group of friends,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
then we're just hanging around, man, and then maybe somebody from another city, a gang member, will come down there and eventually hurt somebody that I grew up with, or me and my friends grew up with. And so because my particular gang, me and a few of my homies, we were the first generation of it. And so the next thing we given ourselves a name, and we formed a gang. And so that's how it starts off, just real small, I think, and harmless, until something extremely tragic happens, and then you caught up in a situation before you even know it.
Yeah. Yeah. I seen it happen, brother. I seen it happen. Okay. So that got started when you was out there, and understand, because it's like you just a group of guys hanging out, and next thing you form a gang, give yourself a name, you think it's cool, and you stick together, and next thing you know, like you said, some happens, and now you got a decision to make. Either you with it or you not with it, and
Right, right.
everybody sticks with the business. Okay, so I just want to establish that you were in part of gang banging community. Okay, so now we back to Billings, Montana, or back to where you come back out to L.A. I mean, excuse me, California and Banning, and you try to do the re-up, and you get caught up
Right,
in the unfortunate shooting, right?
right, right.
So now you get caught up. You said you got caught up in Denver, or you got caught up in Billings?
Well, initially, when I went back to Billings, I got pulled over by the police after about a week or two, and then I end up evading and running from them And by that time, my cousin, who I had moved with initially when I got out there, who was selling cocaine. Now he's staying in Aurora, Colorado. So
Okay.
that's how I end up making my way down to Denver. Denver,
Okay.
Aurora is like really just like a city just right next to Denver.
Okay.
A suburb pretty much. And
Right.
so that's how I end up being out there.
Okay. And so, but is that when the police picked you up?
Well, no, I got pulled over by the police and took to jail out there. And just, luckily, when they took me to jail, the fingerprint machine was broke. So they take me to
Oh
jail.
man, that's a dude's dream, right?
Yeah. And actually, it was me and my other homeboy, rest in peace. He passed away now, but me and him was being charged in this shooting. And
Okay.
so the police pull us over. Long story short, he takes off running. So
Okay.
they end up catching him. Now we both have fake IDs. Well, actually, we both have. I'm telling them that I'm my brother, and my brother. My brother had moved to Montana too, and in Montana, your driving license is your social security number.
Okay.
So I knew that, and so I told him, I was my brother, and so
Okay.
But since my friend took off running, and neither one of us had an ID, they took us both down. Now when my house got raided, my homie who took off running, we lived together, so we
Right.
both knew that we were on probation. So I'm telling the man, well, we might as well just waive extradition and go back and get this taken care of.
Right.
And now when they put us in the tank, there's a white dude in there. He's talking all crazy. He's hollering and cussing, and he's telling them that he's not whoever they think he is. Then 2 minutes they come back. They call him by his real name, and he says, "Okay, you got me." His whole demeanor changed because I guess they had fingerprinted him.
Right.
So I'm telling the homie OZ, it's over.
Right.
They came back that quick on him, but for him, he happened to be from Denver. That's why his fingerprints came back so quick. But I
Okay.
guess from the machine to go get it from Montana, it was messed up. So
Right.
and I told him I was my brother's name. So I'm keeping my eye, I'm watching the lady up out of my peripheral, and she's saying, watch this. And she comes to the gate and she calls my brother's name. She's thinking that I'm not gonna hear the name and it's not me, so I'm not gonna
Right.
say.
Respond.
But when she called the name, I jumped right up and come to the gate. I said, "Hey, what's up?" So long story short, she told me that I could leave, so they let me out.
Oh.
Now my homeboy, he said, "Well, what about me?" And they said, "Oh no, we charging you with obstructing of justice because you ran." So
Oh.
he's, they told him that he had a bail for like $300-400, and that it was so busy and crowded that if I paid the bond, he still wouldn't be able to get out until like 12 or 1 o'clock. And you should have seen the look just come across his face.
Oh
He probably
man.
realized, he was thinking that, by then, by 12 o'clock, they'll probably find out who I am and I'll
Right.
get out, so
Right.
they let me out and I was out of there, and then they had the nerve enough to ask me, "Do you want to ride back to your car?" Man, don't stop playing. I'm just to walk. So I got outside, and the second I got outside, was looking back and seeing they wouldn't. I took off.
Right.
Because I'm thinking at any moment too, they're gonna say, "Hey, bring that guy back."
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right.
I ran down and hopped on the bus and went home. But my buddy, he ended up, I had my girlfriend at the time go down there and pay his bail, and so he did end up getting out.
Okay. Cool. Okay, brother. So, are you still on the run from the gun charge?
Oh
Or
yeah, most definitely.
okay,
Most
you
definitely.
still on the run. Okay.
Mhm.
How long were you on the run?
I was on the run almost a year.
Okay. And so when you on the run, can you touch base with your family, or can you
Yeah,
have any communication?
right. Yeah, I'm calling my family periodically and talking to them and stuff, and by this time, like I say, Bandit's a small town. The police, they didn't ran in there, and they didn't ran up in my mom's house, they didn't ran up in my dad's house, so they looking for me quite extensively.
Okay. Okay. So when they doing all of this running up in everybody's houses, man, what are you thinking? Like, man, I need to turn myself in, or how what were you thinking at that point?
Man, you know what? To be honest, now thinking back on it, I was selfish and I never even thought about turning myself in, and You know, I'm thinking, man, that they just gonna have to catch me, man. Because I didn't really have nothing incriminating at my parents' house either or. So
Right.
and sad to say, but looking back on it now, my dad, he was extremely supportive of me anyway.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so they was helping me kind of like lightweight avoid the police and stuff, and
Yeah.
and so yeah, they were just supportive.
Okay, brother, you on the run, man. You dipping and diving, making do whatever, doing whatever you got to do to survive, and then that day comes. Tell me about the day when you finally get scooped up, brother.
By this time, I've moved to the city of Fontana. I'm living in Fontana, and I had just returned. I had returned shortly again from Denver, and I was in the works of trying to work out a record deal, and so the guy wanted me to come back and record a couple more songs. And so, unbeknownst to me, they had been scoping out my house. Some type of way they had found out I was living in Fontana, and I found this out all later. They was getting ready to raid that house the very next day. And I had been gone to Denver for about 2 weeks, and just so happened I came home at the wrong time. And so the next morning, I go outside. My girlfriend, she's out there. She's getting ready to go to the store real fast. And I'm telling her, so I look out about 10 minutes later. She's still out there talking to one of her friends that stay in the apartment. So I go outstairs, I go downstairs and get in the car. And I'm telling her, go to the store so I can hurry up and go to the studio. And so we're in there, we're laughing and playing. And we drive around. We drive around the apartment complex. And she was going to come back and drop me off. And a car gets behind me. We make another turn and the car's right on me. And those police cars, they got that certain sound, those Fords.
Yeah, right.
So when we hit the second corner and they get right up on us, I said, "Oh man, that's the police, man."
Right.
He said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" I said, "Oh, just pull over,
Right.
And, so when we pull over, they come, they come out of the bushes. They everywhere, driver,
Right.
do this, do that, put your hand on your ear, touch your nose, and all that.
Yeah,
I said, y'all ain't supposed to kill me with all this stuff. I
right.
just jump out, laid on the ground, talk about
Right.
because they want you to follow all these weird directions. And the second you
Right.
make a
Right.
mistake, they shoot you. I said, man, I ain't
Right.
doing all that stuff. And I said,
Oh man. All right,
but see,
brother. So they scoop you up, man. They scoop
right.
you up. Now, when you stretched out, laid out there, man, and they finally jump on you, man. What are you thinking at that point? What's going through your head as they getting you up off the ground? They stop them cuffs on you, man. They bumping your head as they push you into the backseat of that car, man. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, like I say, I'm thinking it's over. It's all bad because and this is like maybe a few days after they had arrested OJ, because one of the cops was telling me, "Oh yeah," he's telling me, "Oh, you're guilty. OJ ran and you ran. OJ fled and you fled." So I'm playing dumb. I'm saying, "Oh, you guys think I connected with the OJ murder? What's going on here?" I'm playing stupid and see. But at that time, my name had also came up in another murder. And so now,
Oh
not only
man.
am I wanted for the shooting at the party, but now I'm also wanted for another murder while I was on the run. And so,
Okay.
I'm thinking it's just, I'm
That's
thinking it's
it.
over.
It's over.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So now you're on your way. You on your way to jail, county
right,
jail, right? Okay.
right,
You're on your way to county jail until they get the charges, everything mapped out of how they want to do it. And
right.
then but that's where they're gonna keep you at, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when they take you down there, did they give you any bail or what was that about?
Yeah, no, I had no bail, because I got arrested in the city, Fontana, which is in the city of San Bernardino, but my charges were out of Riverside County. So, they took me down there, and eventually people from Riverside County come get me. And yeah, they didn't give me no I had no bond.
Okay, you had no bond, obviously, because you ran, right?
Right,
Okay, so now they got you in there, brother,
right.
and now when they got you in there, when do you first get to talk to an attorney, and what is the attorney telling you when you first talking to your attorney?
Maybe I might have talked to an attorney. I would say maybe in a week or two. And initially, and even though I'm thinking it's all bad, well, I'm still kind of like thinking, okay, well, maybe, because I'm thinking that initially I'm charged with 3 counts of attempted murder from the party, and so they're telling me that, I got a lot of people testifying against me and blah, blah, blah. And now one of the witnesses from one of the witnesses from the shooting at the party. He's deceased now, and I'm also being charged with his murder.
Oh
So
man.
now I'm thinking, okay, well, they don't have no witnesses against me and all this type of stuff. So I'm thinking that maybe I can get out. But once you start going to court, the court, and sometimes we see these court shows and this and that, and you think that you're gonna get a fair trial. The court plays a dirty game, and they start pulling
Yeah.
people from everywhere.
Yeah.
All these witnesses, who don't necessarily have anything to do with it. Now, if they get caught stealing an egg, the DA can make a deal with them. Hey, you come tell on this guy, we'll dismiss those charges. And when I
Right.
looked up, man, I had, it seemed like everybody and their mama was telling on me.
Right. Right. So because I'm trying to figure out, man. I knew you knew it was a serious situation, but
Right.
at what point did you realize, oh, this is even more serious than I thought it was? Like, at what point did you recognize that at that point?
Probably about 6 months into my incarceration. Because like I say, initially, they just charged me with the 3 counts of attempted murder.
Okay.
But they kept saying they was going to charge me with the murder also. So one day when
Okay.
I went to court and they charged me with the murder as well, that's when I knew, man, I was scared. The pit of my stomach dropped. I'm like, oh man, they finna to get me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so that's
How old are you, brother?
they arrested me maybe about 10, 12 days before my 23rd birthday. So I was 20,
Oh,
almost 23 when they first. I was 22 when they arrested me. I got arrested July the 27th, and my birthday is August the 5th.
man. Of what year?
They arrested me in '94.
Holy smokes, man. Holy smokes. Ouch. 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 Okay, man. So now you realizing this is serious, man. Now they
Right,
just, hey, we talking about the sheriff department or whatever. They saying, hey, man, we got to close this case. Let's throw it on this dude. You know what
right,
I'm saying? Let's wrap it up, man. You know
right,
what I mean? Because if they ever found out, because a lot of times what happened, no slack to the police officers that do their real job. But sometimes, man, sometimes we have a lot of people that have gotten, um, you know, gone through where they've been had charges just to get the murder solved,
right,
and to come find out 20 years later they didn't have nothing to do with it. But the
right,
person that actually put the charges on them, they retired and living on a pension somewhere else, right, in a whole other state.
right, right.
So sometimes that can happen, brother. So, but anyway, now you realizing, man, oh man, these people are serious, man. These people are serious, and now it's getting all bad. So, what are you thinking as far as representation? I mean, do you have the money to get good representation, or are you using the public system?
Yes, well, I hired a private lawyer, and like I said, initially they charged me with the attempted murder, and then they charged me with the murder. So initially, I had a public defender, and then so I hired a private lawyer for that. But then I kept the public I kept the public defender for the murder charge since I was going to go for the attempted murder first. And now just so happened for me, the lawyer who I hired, he was the because my parents hired him because they was the ones on the street, actually my dad. And this dude was it was like his second murder case ever. He was a brand new lawyer, and he was horrible. Come to
Yeah,
find out, the public defender that I had, he was way better than him. So I should have just kept him. But then I
right.
end up hiring another lawyer as well. This black lawyer by the name of Grover Porter up out of San Bernardino, and he was a real good lawyer. And I think if I had got him from the first case, things would have came out much better. But I would just like to add something to what you alluded to earlier. In terms of like cats being innocent and this and that. That wasn't my situation. My situation, I was out there, I was gang banging. Me going to prison was a direct result of my actions. But uh the court still, they'll use, a lot of the individuals that they brought to court was honestly flat out lying. I have no problem in saying, I was 100% guilty of everything I done. But they still, they use cats who are unsavory. They'll have drug addicts coming here. They had some dudes who, now, like I said, Bannon is a small town. So what some of these drug addicts would do, would say, "Oh yeah, I was sitting in the corner, man, and I saw this murder happen."
Right,
And
right,
they're telling the police that in hopes of getting money for their drug addiction,
right.
not realizing that the police is going to make them come back in later on. Now, when it's time to come back in and testify, now they're saying, "Oh, I was high," and blah blah blah. But the police is threatening them with jail time. So a lot of them get up there and they just tell a story, because like I say, by Bannon being so small, "Oh, did you hear what happened up there the other day?" And by the time I'm on the run for a year, so by the time I'm caught, so many people had heard this story. We had one dude in particular. This dude testified on 5 murders. Every
Man.
time a murder happened, he's sitting across the street smoking a cigarette. You know? Like, okay, well, damn, how many murders are you gonna see?
Right,
You
right.
just saw 5 murders in 1 year.
Wow.
It was crazy. He testified against me. He testified against my partner Popeye. He testified against this guy named Squeak from Rolling 60s. And he testified against this Crip from Pomona who killed a blood from Pomona. So he
Right.
came in, and just so happened how my lawyer knew about him, the public defender, is because the public defender just so happened to be representing the guy from Pomona. And when he heard that name, he said, "Oh man, that's the guy who's testifying against my other client." So
Yeah.
come to find out, we get documentation. This dude was a paid police informant.
Right.
So that's the type of stuff though that the DA will use in the event they think you're guilty. They'll do all these type of sneaky, dirty tactics to get a conviction.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying, brother. I don't know what happened, and I don't want to know what happened. I'm just saying that things like that do happen, where
Right.
they will because uh, I just did a story about 2 or 3 weeks ago about a brother that had did like 40 years or something, and they ended up giving him like I think $8 million or something like that. But he had been in jail all the time, and he had said he hadn't done it, but and then the person that actually did it had said he did it, but they pushed this dude to do it,
Right.
and so they put him in prison with faulty evidence, and that's
Right.
all I was saying, brother. I'm not, what I'm saying, but I appreciate you being, taking responsibility for your situation and
Right.
stepping up like that, man. I appreciate that. I think that shows a lot to the youngsters out here, man, because they need to see people, man, at some point taking responsibility for what they done, man.
Right.
Okay, man. So let's get back on the trains, man. So now you got you got a janky lawyer. You realizing, man, that they stacking up against you. You see how this is going, and at what point do you finally say to yourself, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna do some serious time here."
Well, I didn't say that to myself until I went to trial and they found me guilty, because initially I'm still going to trial, because I'm thinking, okay, they don't have no witnesses, all
Right,
this whole type of stuff. So once I started going to trial, now they're bringing witnesses out of the woodwork,
right,
all types of stuff, man. They had real quick. So it's a dude who's on the bus. He's the one who was throwing the party that the shooting happened.
okay,
So now I knew this dude,
okay,
I went to school with his sister. So and he ended up marrying my cousin later on. But anyway, we're sitting in the holding tank and he comes back. He said, "Man, they trying to give me a 5-year deal for such and such." I'm telling him, "Hey man, don't take that deal. That's too much." So
right,
he said, "I gotta go back after lunch." So now he goes back after lunch. He comes back. He said, "Man, they gave me probation." I said, "See, I told you not to take that deal." So now when I go to court, when I go to trial, because like I say, it's his party that the shooting happened at. Now, when I go to trial, all of a sudden he's coming to trial talking about he heard me on the bus saying that you get asking my other homie, "Did I get rid of the gun?" I said, "Oh, this is crazy." So now I realize
oh,
that's why they was offering to do 5 years. So once he come back with probation, he had went near and made a deal to testify against me.
right,
Talking
right,
about he just heard me on the bus talking about a gun, which is 100% straight lie. But this is
right,
the type of tactics they would be using.
right,
And so
right.
yeah, they
Ouch.
and so when I'm going to trial, they're doing a lot of stuff like this. Now, any person that would come in there and test, because I had my homies come up in there lying, saying that I wasn't shooting and all this type of
Right,
stuff.
right,
3 of those dudes that came testify for me, the next day they got arrested. They arrested one of my buddies on an old 7-year drug trial. I mean, a drug charge, and gave him 5 years. Now, you guys have been seeing this dude every day. You know, like I say,
Wow.
Bannon is small. The police know all the negative players. Now
Right.
suddenly you got an old drug charge on this dude. You know, one dude who come in here and testified against me. The police said the next day he drove past and the dude pulled a gun, talk about, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you. Just, you know, the police play dirty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a dirty game, bro. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Uh so okay, so now we at the point where you went to trial,
Right.
you're convicted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you convicted. Do you go back to the county jail or where do you go from here?
Right. Well, once I got convicted, I got sentenced to 9 years plus life. I got 9 years for because it was an individual who ended up getting shot in the head. So they gave me great bodily injury on that. For
Okay.
the dude, for the other dude that they claiming that I was shooting at who didn't even get hit, I got a life sentence. So I got 9 years for the guy who got shot in the head, and I got plus life for the guy who was who they claimed that I was shooting. So I'm at this point, I got a 9 year plus life sentence.
Wait,
So
wait. Because I'm trying to understand what you're saying, brother.
right,
Okay. So they give you 9 years for the dude that you actually hit,
right.
and then they give you a life sentence for the dude that you didn't hit.
Right. Okay, because like I say, initially, my other homeboy was charged. It was my homie OZ, rest in peace. He was also charged. They end up dropping the charges on him. 3 people got shot. One individual got shot in his head. Unfortunately, he survived, but he got shot in the head. Then 2 other people got shot in the leg. And so they didn't find me guilty of those. They just found me guilty of the dude who got shot in the head. And I had got into an altercation with his brother.
Okay.
And so for his brother, who wasn't even hit at all, they gave me a life sentence.
I that just doesn't make no sense to me
It didn't make
because
sense to me either.
it should be the opposite, right? You should get the
That-
life sentence for getting hit in the dude, right?
That's what I
Okay.
thought.
So now you got two sentences, right?
9 years. So I have to do half of the 9, which is 4. Then after
Okay.
that, I have to do a life sentence.
Okay. So now that means that that's running consecutively or concurrently. And can you explain that?
Consecutively. Okay, so what concurrent is basically everything running together. Say for instance, like when I was speaking earlier about the probation, if I had got 5 years on one charge and I got 3 years on the other charge, if the judge runs it consecutive, then it's really like I only got 5 years because the higher charge will eat up the other one if you're running them together.
Okay, right.
If you're doing, if you're doing 5 and 3 together, then it's really like you're only doing 5 because you're gonna have to do that 5.
Right.
Consecutive is like if you have 5 years for this charge, 3 years for that charge, 5 years for another charge. You have to do each sentence individually.
Okay.
And so that's when you have consecutive charges, that's when they hurt you. Because if you got 3 years on one charge, 2 on another, and 3 on another, then it's like you got 3, 2, 3. That's 8, because you're gonna have to do all that individual. As opposed to, like I said, if you have one charge and that everything's running concurrent, concurrent, then you just have to do whatever big number you have.
Okay. So what is the point? What's the distinction and why do they let some people do concurrent and let some people do consecutive? What's the difference?
Well, I think sometimes it may be at the discretion of the judge, and then it may depend on, each case is individually different. Like, and you know what? That makes it, you have a good point, because I'll see dudes who come to jail with maybe 5 or 6 different burglaries, and even though the burglaries didn't happen all at one time, they're still letting them do the time concurrent, and which makes no sense, because if you did the burglaries separately, it seems like you should have to do the time separately.
I mean, it would seem like that would be the way it would work.
Right.
Okay, brother. So now now you've been sentenced for the
attempted murder
shooting, right? The attempted murder. You're sentenced for that. You're sentenced for also the not even hitting the person. So you got those 2 sentences, correct?
Right.
Okay. So at this point, when they walk you out of there, they say, okay, bam, this is your sentencing, and then they sentence you to denying the life, right? Okay, so where do you go from there? Do you go back to the county, or do you go straight to the pen, or what happened?
Oh, I go back to the county jail because keep in mind, I still have a trailing murder case.
Oh, we didn't. Okay, that's right.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
So,
Okay.
but by this time they've charged me with the murder. So now, like I say, I have a 9-year plus life sentence, and I still have another murder case that I have to go and deal with that. So I
Okay.
go back to the county jail.
Okay. So you was in the county jail. So now tell me about that. When they put you in the county, um, did you know anybody, or did you just go in there dry, or what happened with that?
When I went to the county, when they first put me in there in the particular tank they put me in, um, I didn't know any. Well, actually, I knew one individual. He happened to be, I think his his sister at some point in time used to date one of the dudes who I was in there for shooting at, and so they
Okay.
put me in. I went to the crypt tank, and so I go in there, and I'm in there like 2 or 3 days, and I get into a fight. I get jumped by some dudes, and a dude cut me on the back with like a razor in the comb or a razor in the toothbrush. I never actually seen the weapon, but so yeah, that's I didn't know nobody that particular time when I went in there that time.
Okay. So, but after you get your sentence, and now you waiting to go back to court to deal with your with the last murder charge. You're in you're in the county waiting on that charge, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. So how was that like, and what was that like, being in the county jail, waiting on, already convicted, already got 9 to life, and then waiting to get convicted on another murder case? How was being in the because I want people to see what it's like and what you're thinking as a young man in that environment. What were your thoughts at that point?
Well, for each individual is vastly different, man. And for me, I just thought that going to prison was a possible extension of the street, and it comes with the territory, and then luckily I'd always been blessed with a real upbeat personality. I love to laugh and joke all the time, so to
Right.
me it was just it was nothing to cry about now, because I knew even though no one wants to get caught and go to jail, I knew it was part of the game. But now you had some people in there who, every day they hated it. They was upset and hollering like they was, like they was innocent and stuff. So it just, like I say,
Right.
it just all depends on the individual. So I'm just in there, just hanging out, young, we still having fun, laughing, fighting and stuff. It just, it was part of the territory.
Okay. And so it's all good now. When you go in there, is it dorm living, or do you have a cell, or you have a cellmate? What's happening in the county jail?
Riverside County has different. They have a whole bunch of different jails that actually make up the Riverside jail county system. But some tanks were cell living, some tanks were dorm living. Initially, I was put in a cell, which is the new county jail.
Okay.
Then later on, they moved me to the old county jail, and so
Okay.
and that was dorm living. It just depended on where you were housed at that particular time.
All right, brother. Let me get this chat real quick and catch this chat. Mr. Best in the World. Shout out, brother Clarence. Shout out to brother, on keeping it real about his journey. Oh man, you have no man. You got to go to this page, Mr. Best. Knowledge and relationships in the building. Yeah, if you guys get a chance, go check out Knowledge and Relationships. Yeah, they doing big things down there as well, trying to help people as well. That's what it's all about. Sister Don saying hey to brother, Mr. Best. All right, brother Eric. So here we are. We're in Riverside County, and is it separated like you on some of your videos? You give me detail and about how uh, the differentiations, the gangs are separated. Now in the jail, and we're gonna get into the pen later, but in the county jail, is it separated by race or hood or anything like that? Is you know
Well, Riverside County is like this. Okay, it's the cells are integrated. The only tanks they had that was separated by race were the basically like the gang tanks. Like now, the Crip tank that was all black, They had a tank for the Serenos, which was all Hispanics. They had another tank, I guess, for like the skinheads or whatever, and that was all white. But
Okay.
the other tanks, they was integrated, and they would put you in the cell. They would put a white in the cell with a black, a white in the cell with a Mexican, and all that type of stuff. So it just, if you was in like a general population tank, then that's how it would be. Like they didn't have a tank for the Bloods back then. So the Bloods were in a mixed tank. They were in the tank with whites, Mexicans, and stuff like that. So it just all depends on where you wanted to go. So initially, like I say, they put me in the Crip tank. I got into a fight. Then when I tried to come back to the Crip tank, they wouldn't let me in there because one of my next door neighbors was in there, and he was also being charged with a couple murders, and they wanted us separated because they thought they thought we may have had some gang murders together. So they wanted to keep it apart. And so eventually I did get back into that tank. And like I say, by that time, then I knew a few dudes who were up in there then. Like I say, I knew my neighbor and I knew a few other dudes up in there. But initially when I first went, I didn't know nobody in that particular tank that they put me in.
Okay. When you went into just the jail system, did you have any concerns for your safety or anything like that? Or
No, not necessarily, because for the most part, I had never really been in jail before. I'd been to juvenile hall maybe, I think, about 30 days, and I had done the 60 days in Montana. So, like I say, the only thing I'm knowing, I got this gang mentality. All I know is, when you get to wherever you're going, you just represent where you're from. It's gonna be some fights. I mean, that comes with the territory, and I really was of the mindset, don't it's no need to be crying now. You wasn't crying when you was on the street, so you got to ride it out.
Right. Okay, so you're in Riverside. Okay, they bring you back to adjudicate you for this other charge. Now, what ends up happening with that charge?
Well, I spent about a year in the county, and like I say, I end up hiring another lawyer by the name of Grover Porter, this brother up out of San Bernardino. And initially, he asked me, because I didn't want to take no deal. Now, because I already got a life sentence, so I'm thinking like, shit. Excuse me. I'm thinking like, why should I take a deal now? I already got life, And so he said, hey, if I could get you a 16-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter, would you take it? I said no, but after about a year, I end up taking that. And I think only thing he wanted me to do, he wanted me to make sure I paid him his money,
Right.
I would go to court, he'd postpone it, we'd go back and forth to court. And so, he charged me $25,000. And then I think he ended up giving my family like maybe about $5 back,
Okay.
And, so long story short, yes, I end up taking the deal. I end up, was getting ready to start trial on that. And the DA was talking about that in the event we find him guilty, we're going to ask for life without parole. And so, my mom and dad, they was a little shook up. I had one of my homegirls who was she was real influential in me taking the deal. Cause like I say, I didn't want to take that deal. Now, what they did to me when I went to my attempted murder trial, they allowed a witness who claimed she witnessed the murder. They allowed her to come and testify at my attempted murder trial, which of course was extremely prejudicial to the jury.
All right.
The murder didn't have nothing to do with the attempted murder. I could understand if I went to trial on the murder, allowing for them to allow, because see, they claimed that the murder happened because I killed a witness. They claimed that the reason I caught the murder was to stop him from testifying in my attempted murder trial.
Right.
So, but what happened? If we get into it on Monday and then a murder happens again on Friday, what happens on Friday has no result on what initially happened on Monday.
Right.
So, but now I realize that, okay, now that they have found me guilty of attempting to kill this dude, of course, if I go to the murder trial, they're going to let all that evidence in.
Right.
And so that was going to be extremely negative. And so, yeah, my homegirl, she was real influential in me taking the deal. And so long story short, I end up taking that deal for 16 years. And so what he did is, in this case, they ran the 16 and the 9. The DA was willing to run that concurrent.
Okay.
But he wouldn't run the life, he wouldn't let me do the life together. So essentially, instead of having 9 plus life, I end up getting 16 years plus life.
Okay.
So I had
So,
half of the 16, which was 8. Then I would start doing a life sentence. And under the California law at the time, I would have to do 7 years, and then I was eligible for parole.
okay. So it wasn't an LWOP. It was just a life sentence and with eligibility for parole, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So now you've been convicted, right?
Right.
You all your charges, everything's all wrapped up. You know what you're looking at, right?
Mhm. Right.
You got to do the first 8 and then another 7 before you can even see the crack of light, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. Now you understand. Are you understanding that at this point, or are you thinking like? Because some dudes think they get a life sentence and they think, man, I'm never gonna see the bricks again. So, are you understanding what's in front of you?
Yes, and initially, and that was one of the reasons that I took the deal because my lawyer said, "Hey, if you ever want any chance of getting out, I'd advise you to take this deal." And then I'm listening to guys who have been, who are in prison. I mean, who are in the county jail and who've been to prison. They're saying, "Well, hey, man, 90% of Riverside, the cases in Riverside get thrown out. They'll bring you back on appeal." All that stuff was untrue.
Right, right,
So,
right.
listen to people in jail, because a lot of people are extremely
Yeah,
optimistic when it's
yeah,
when it's unworthy. You know what I'm saying? And so,
yeah.
yeah,
All right, man. We're gonna take a small music break. I want y'all to see and hear my brother, and we're gonna just listen to a little bit of him real quick. And
Shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again. Rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like the hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like the bazooka sound. And I shoot quick and it ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, free straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys out, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
I gotta. Hey, you know what, brother? You're so talented, man. But I have to find the parts with the least amount of cursing, right? Hey, y'all. But brother Eric said he gonna go back to the studio and make me a clean version so I can play it here, brother. So stick with him. But brother Eric, he has music. He's an artist. He's not only a survivor of the belly of the beast, but he's also an artist, man, and he a music artist. If you go to his page, I put it in the chat. Go to his page, man. You can look up some of his music, and then I think he's got links where you can actually go and purchase his music. And let's support this brother, man. I mean, he's out here trying to do big things, and so I want to support him. You know what I mean, as best as we can. Okay, brother Eric. So now you see what's in front of you, man.
right.
You got to do a hard 8 and a hard 7 just to get a sneak peek at the bricks, right? So now, so okay, so once you get all that wrapped up, you go back to the county jail, and then where do you go from there?
So I go back to the county jail. I stay in the county jail about maybe another month because I asked, the judge could he sentence me forthwith and get me out of the county jail. And so I stay there for about a month and a half, and then they send me to prison.
Okay, now when they send you to prison, what's that bus ride like?
Um, Well, I had never been to prison before, but I stayed in the county jail so long that I'm a little nervous and stuff, but I'm comfortable because I had been in jail for so long. So they send me to a prison by the name of Tehachapi, what's known as a reception center, and they
Okay,
send you there for a while. They just analyze you, diagnose you, and they figure out where you're gonna go to start doing your permanent housing.
okay, okay. So you're at Tehachapi. Anything jump off over there, or were you it was just cool? Or
Well, I was at Tehachapi. I got into a fight with one of my ex cellmates, and besides that, that was about it.
okay. So you're at Tehachapi, you finally get processed, and they decide, okay, where did they decide you were going to go?
They sent me to Salinas Valley.
Okay, Salinas Valley. So now you're on a bus going to Salinas Valley. What's going through your head on the bus, man?
Nothing really. I'm just on the bus. I'm sitting next to this dude by the name of Stymie, and he was from Hoover, and so we just We just riding, talking, chit chatting, talking about, he's real optimistic. I think he had 15 to life. He was either 18 or 19. So, he's optimistic about doing his time and doing his little 30 years or doing his time and then getting out at the age of 32, 33. He'll still be young. And so we just, we just talking about trying to stay out of trouble and coming
Right.
home.
Right. Okay, brother. So you get to Salinas and you get all checked in, processed, and everything. Check in. Is it dorm living or cell living or how was that?
Cell living. It's cell living. They sent me to Salinas Valley, which is a level 4, 180, which is the highest security prison they have. And Salinas Valley was a new prison at that time, which is extremely horrible when you're opening up a new prison, because you have all the different races and different gangs jockeying for position, trying to establish, where they're gonna be. And so it's a lot of riots, a lot of bull crap.
Right, man. Okay, so let's take a sidebar real quick, brother. So like you said this is a level 4, right? It was the highest security prison, right?
Right.
Okay, what is the difference between the different levels, man?
Okay, they have, like I say, they have a level 4 180, which is what Salinas Valley was. They have a level 4 180, they have a level 4 270. And the difference between those is the designs. The level 4 180 is designed to limit the number of inmates in one place or another, because
Okay.
the level 4 270 is just you have a whole bunch of inmates and on like in the yard and okay, and like the 180 is at a 270 level 4 in Calipat. One time you had a lot of Crips who had got into it and they ran in the program office and they started stabbing the sergeants and stuff like that
Wow.
over an incident where they felt one of their members was mistreated. So then after that, that's when they started designing the 180s to eliminate stuff like that from happening. So it's and now, before you could have access to like the program office, that's where the sergeant is at. It's behind a gated wall. You'd have to go through there and get searched. And now, instead of going outside to chow, you would the chow hall is in the building.
Okay.
So instead of, like I say, having maybe 400 or 500 people walk into the chow hall, now you have people in a building and you just go to the chow hall in your building, and it's broken into sections. Like a level 4 270, it's like maybe the big old giant building that you might see on 60 Days In. They open the
Yeah.
cells and everybody come out. Now on a 180, it's a building is broken into 3 sections. So now it's like it's less people. So now you have, like, instead of like maybe 180 cells, you might have 20 in section B, 20 in section A, so stuff like that. So they feed in sections. So any event
Okay.
that happens, it limits the number of people out there, and it's easier for them to control.
I got you. I got you. Okay.
So then
So
they
you
have the level, and then go ahead with your next question.
no. Go ahead. I want you to break it down, brother, because
And so then they have the level 3, which is a little bit less restrictive than the level 4. And the level 3, like, it's built like the 270, where everybody comes out at once,
okay.
And then
Okay.
then they have the level 2. Now the level 2 is when you get into dorm living. And then, excuse me, okay, so like the level 4, it depends on on how much time you have. If you have a whole lot of time, like the level 4 180 is basically, it's like they call it a shoe kick out. So if you went to the hole for something violent, or if you had a bunch of time, life sentence or something like that, you'd be on a level 4 180. Then it's like each one is a little bit like a step down. So then
Okay.
a level 2 is dorm living. You have much more freedom. You're living in the dorm with a whole bunch of people. And then level 1, it's pretty much like the same, but it's like a camp. Depending on where you're at, you might be able to go. You have jobs, you can go outside and pick up trash and clean up. But now, when I first came to prison, they didn't allow any lifers. If you had life, they only would allow you to go to a level 2. Now they let lifers go to a level 1. But so it's just each lower level is pretty much less restrictive than the one you was initially on. More
Okay.
freedom.
Okay. So they pretty much evaluate you at some point and then decide, okay, this person is probably
Right.
okay with going to this
Right.
level or that level. Okay.
Right. And then,
Okay.
because in the California prisons too, every year you have what's called an annual. And like you say, the the California prisons is based on a point system. So if you
Okay.
have like, I think 52 or somewhere 52 points or more, then you would go to a level 4. And then so
Okay.
each year you can lose 8 points if you stayed out of trouble, or if you got in trouble, they'd give you points. And so that's how they basically would determine what level you was going to be on.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha, brother. Um, okay, man. So now you on the level 4 180, right?
Right. The worst of
Salinas
the
Valley.
worst.
Worst of the worst.
Right.
Murderers, killers, everything, man. All kind of people that you need to have 2 eyes in front, 2 eyes in back, 2 on the side, and 2 on the other side, right?
Most
Just
definitely.
keep your head
And
on the swivel.
to add briefly, this is right at the time that the 3 strikes is instituted. So now you got people on the yard with 195 to life, 200 to life. This is
Ooh,
right at the time that people are starting to go and get sent to prison behind those 3 strike cases. So it's just, it's a lot of
nothing to
crap.
lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Oh man. Okay, so now you out there with these kind of cats, man, where it's nothing to lose. I mean, well, I guess it's not every even though you got life, doesn't mean you got life unless you got you got an L whop, and then that's when you ain't never gonna see the bricks again. Are you out there with dudes like that?
Right, most definitely. I met several of those cats, and so keep in mind, me and the brother, we're on the bus. So when we get off the bus, one of the first dudes we run into, brother by the name of C. Looney from Venice Showline, he say, "Oh man, you got life? You got life? Oh, you ain't going home." He said because well, he asked us how much time we got. The dude Stein, he said, "Oh man, I got life. I'll be out in such and such." He said, "Oh no, man, if you got life, you're not going home because back then." The parole boards were denying, even if you had life with the possibility of parole, they were systematically denying parole to anybody. And then also the governor, at some point in time, I believe in 86, 87, or wherever, they had voted that in the event a parole board would grant a life for parole, the governor had the final say on it. So even if they granted you and found you suitable, the governor could say, "Oh, well, I believe this guy is still a threat, and I revoke that decision." So they weren't, maybe in a 20-year span, they had paroled maybe 3 or 4 lifers. So it was pretty much you wasn't going nowhere.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, man. So you get off the bus, man. You get in, you get processed, you get a cell. Now, you have a cellmate, or are you in your own cell?
I'm in my own cell for a couple of days because, like I say, the prison was still relatively new, and then in a couple of days later, I had a cellmate.
Okay. When they give you a cellmate, do you have a say in that, does the other person, or do you just gotta accept what they give you, or what?
No, you don't really have a say. They just give you a cellmate, and then maybe later on, you can, hey, get at the police like, "Hey man, me and this dude, we're really not compatible. I got a homie over there." They allow you eventually to make cell moves.
Oh, okay, okay. But you gotta be, I guess, not have no problems or nothing like that, and then
Well, not as much. It just all depends on the, I guess, on the space.
okay,
If you have somebody, you have somebody that you want to bring in your cell, and you don't have a cellie, then a lot of times they will do it. It just, like I say, it just depends on the availability.
okay, okay. So now, man, you in, man. You're in Salinas Valley, okay,
Right.
and so they give you a cell. Now you go in your cell, you put your stuff down, and now you got to try and figure out the politics of what's going on at this spot, right?
Right.
So how does that go, man? What do you do? Just like you just kind of keep to yourself for a few weeks or something, or how do you figure out the politics? Because you know that yeah, the police run the place, but actually there's inmates that actually you know run the place, right?
Right, right. Especially back then. And now as I think about it, the when I was in the county jail, man, the dudes who I was around, they didn't prepare me at all. They could have definitely gave me more, insight and this and that. So when I get to prison, just so happened there's nobody from my area up there. There happened to be this lifer who had done a bunch of time by the name of Big Heron from the Compton Grandies. He happened to take a liking to me and just move me in the cell. Due to his character and due to his reputation, he was well liked and well loved, and
Okay,
so
yeah, yeah.
he
Now you
happened
talking
to
about Big Heron that was with
Suge
uh
Knight.
yeah.
Yeah, see, not to be confused with him. A lot
Okay,
of people,
okay.
he was a blood. This Heron that I'm talking about was a Crip.
Okay, right on. Okay.
Right, and so I believe the one you're talking about was from the Mob Pyru.
Yeah.
This one's from the Grandies, and
Okay.
he
Okay.
unfortunately passed away of a heart attack a few years later after I met him. But so he happened to pull me in, he happened to lace me and let me know the things that, the goings on of the prison and stuff. But briefly, real quick now, the individual who I had caught the chain with, who thought he was going home after 15 years, once he found out Lifers was never going home, he kind of wilded out. He ended up stabbing one of his homeboys and stuff, and it was just a trip to see the change in his demeanor once he realized that he wasn't going home. It was almost like he became hopeless. And then by him
Uh,
also being young, being from a large LA gang, trying to prove himself, by the time I left a few years later, this dude had probably had like maybe 100 and something points. He had
man.
ran he had ran his points up. And the cold part about that is he didn't even have enough points to even be on a 4-yard initially. They had just overrode him. They bumped him up to a 4-yard because he had been to YA before, California Youth Authority.
Okay.
So had he stayed out of trouble for 1 year, he could have dropped down to a level 3.
Man. 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 So it's hard to get advice when you out there, man, sometimes, huh? Because you you don't know if it's good or bad, right?
Definitely. And then, back then, there was no rehabilitation, man. Like I say, that dude was 18, 19 years old. They threw him in the worst of the worst. So you got
Right.
all these other dudes telling you to be hard. Here, take a knife, do this, do that. And if you're trying to fit in, and if you're worried about surviving, you have to do what you have to do to be accepted.
Right. 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 Okay, brother. So now you like I said, you kind of like trying to see how the politics go at this particular place, man. Because in your head, do you think, hey, at some point I will get out, or are you like, you know, if it happened, it happened, but I ain't gonna get all, I ain't gonna work towards it.
Right.
What was your mentality on it?
Me personally, you have everybody, of course, with different opinions. But me personally, I never believed that I was going to get out. And the way I dealt with having life, I dealt with it really just not by thinking about it. I just didn't think about it. I just thought it was day. I'm doing time day by day. I got a life sentence, and I'm probably never going home.
Okay, so man, so you got the life, and you got you looking, your time, and you know what you're looking at, and so you're at Salinas. Okay,
Right.
now you're at Salinas. Do you stay at Salinas, or do you get transferred someplace else, or what happens after that?
I stayed at Salinas for a couple of years, and then I ended up getting transferred. I stayed out of trouble, and I ended up getting transferred to a level 3. So I requested, now when your points drop and when you stay out of trouble, you can request to be moved to a certain prison near wherever you want to be, and if they have space, they'll move you. So the
Okay.
closest prison to my family was in Blythe, California,
Okay.
called Ironwood. So I requested a transfer, and luckily I was sent to Ironwood.
Okay. So you get to Ironwood. Now, is it the same thing at every prison? Do you got to stand back for a little while and see how the politics go, or can you just jump out there?
Well, for the most part, every level 4 and every level 3, the politics are pretty much the same. Once you get an understanding of how prison works, it's like that pretty much everywhere. Level 1s, level 2s, level 3s. There's just not as much racial tension on the lower levels. So
Okay.
once I got to once I got to the level 3, you get there, you talk to a few of your friends, you check the climate, because it's not a necessarily an on-site beef with anybody in prison for the most part, whether it's Crips, Bloods, Hispanics, Blacks, but the potential is always there. When,
Right.
when people hear that the California prisons are segregated, it's just segregated upon race, but it's not segregated to the point where we don't talk and communicate with other races and stuff like that.
Okay, brother. So I got to ask you, brother Eric. I got to ask you, man.
Most definitely.
All right. So how does it come up where brothers or anybody out there that's really in the prison, how does the cheek busting work? And is that by selection, detection? How does that work, brother? How does that work? Or does people just decide, hey, I'm already in a part of that lifestyle, meaning the homosexual lifestyle, and I'm just gonna let people know I'm available for that type of thing. How does it work, brother?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say that I believe that that's over exaggerated. I think that it's a misconception that everybody in prison is into that. I think that it may be more prevalent down south, and the reason why it's not so prevalent in California is due to the gang culture.
Okay.
I would probably say 80 to 90% of people in prison in California belong to some type of gang. And so,
Okay.
your gang is not going to see one of their homies victimized in that manner.
Right.
So 9 times out of 10 in California, it's just merely by selection. Sometimes a person may come. I never personally myself seen a person turned out.
Okay.
If a person is like a full, well, he considers himself a woman, most likely he probably came to prison like that already
Okay.
you know
Okay.
and there were some instances that I did see dudes in the cell with homosexuals. I had a homie who, now, like, when I first came to prison, they took the conjugal visits from the lifers. So if you was a lifer, you was no longer eligible for a family visit. So,
Okay.
but I had a homie who wasn't a lifer. He was married and got conjugal visits, and he also was living in a cell with a homosexual. So the majority of people I seen involved in that type of thing actually probably only had 3-4 years, 2-3 years. They weren't lifers. And
Right.
so it's just all a personal choice. But with everybody with trying to be macho and all this fake bravado going on, homosexuality was ostracized. Really, I've seen
Okay.
sometimes where homosexuals will come to the yard and they're ran off the yard.
Okay.
But I've also seen certain dudes talking tough, like, "Oh man, they talk bad about homosexuals." Then I got to another prison where there was a lot of homosexuals, and this dude was in a relationship with one. So it's also a lot of times where they're trying to say the right thing.
Right.
So you never really know until a person is presented with that with the opportunity. But for the most part, it's frowned upon.
Okay. So, because a lot of times people talk about prison, man, and one of the main things that people talk about in prison is the vulnerability of people, man, and people being vulnerable to certain different, attacks or whatever, right? Did
Right.
you see any of that while you were in the prison system?
Well, I definitely seen people preyed upon. And like I say, I think that's why you have so many people join gangs, because I ran into a couple of people who, "Hey homie, where you from?" Oh, they said they didn't gang bang. Then 3 or 4 months later, now they from such and such.
Right.
Dang, on the bus, you claim you was a non-affiliate. So I think it's reasons like that. People feel, of course, they feel more powerful with the presence of others. And
Right.
so,
Right.
but I've also seen some of those people also victimized when their homies realize that they're not the person they've claimed to be. Briefly, like I say, I end up running across the actor who played in a bunch of movies, man, The Wood and Get on the Bus, and I believe
Right.
now he's on Snowfall. And he was preyed upon. And to me, honestly, I thought it was unfortunate. I thought that he should have been celebrated because of his accomplishments, because he grew up
Right.
in the ghetto, he grew up in the poverty communities, and he made it out. But unfortunately, sometimes that gang mentality, sometimes us brothers, we're quick to jump on our own.
Right.
And you had a lot of dudes preying on this dude because they're feeling that since this dude is in movies, he has a lot of money and stuff or whatever. And unfortunately, by him not being affiliated with a gang, he was preyed upon. So that does happen.
Okay, so uh, just to put it out there, what do you think is the biggest reason, from your perspective, that these cats get preyed upon in prison? What do you think is the biggest reason that happens?
Lack of racial pride and lack of unity, because you don't see that for the most part with the Hispanics. And so it's just it's sad, man, because I think a lot of us really just we with each generation, man, we care about our race less and less and less, and it's sad, man, that how the stink of the game culture has just permeated the black race to the point where we don't care like we used to back in the 60s and the 70s and stuff.
Right,
That's
right,
what it is, man. Just really lack of black pride.
right, right, right. Okay, brother. So now you hit Salinas and you say you got sent to another prison at level 3. And where was level 3 at?
It was in Ironwood at a
Ironwood, right?
in Blythe it's called Blythe, California, and it's going towards Arizona. It's extremely hot down there.
Yeah. Okay, so now you at Blythe.
Right,
And so now, like you said, it's level 3. So pretty much the politics pretty much run the same.
right.
Now, there's another question that somebody like myself have because okay, so who decides? Do you is it a assigned seating at the at the chow, or do you just seat yourself, or you got to be with some car to sit with the car, or what? How does that work, brother?
Yeah, it varies from institution to institution, but most prisons, you just when you walk in the chow hall, you just fill in the seats. Some of them will let you, because you walk in the chow hall and it's a whole bunch of like wooden tables, and some
Okay,
of them will let you pick and sit where you want to sit. But most times they just tell you, hey man, fill in the seats. So
okay,
whoever you happen to be with, that's who you sit with.
okay,
So a
okay,
lot of times, by people knowing that, people will walk in groups like, okay, like maybe for instance, all the blacks will go first and the Hispanics, they'll fall back. And so when they go, they're gonna sit with a Hispanic.
right, right, okay, okay. And for the most part, everything's cool between the groups, between the blacks and the Latinos and the whites and the Asians. For the most part, is cool, or was it always something jumping off?
Yeah, unless there's an ongoing battle or a war, for the most part, we're at least cordial with each other, because we work with, the races work with each other, Hispanics, blacks, whites. So you might be I might be at work in the kitchen and there might be a Hispanic dude in there, he wants to steal something, so he's like, hey Holmes, can you watch out, make sure the police ain't coming, so
Right,
like I say, we speak to each other, we're cordial, we're respectful. Only
right,
when it's like maybe tension in the air, or maybe we just done got into a riot and the issue hasn't, because sometimes if you get into a riot, the issue might go on for a year or two. Every time they let those races out, they might lock us down for like 5 months, 2 months. When they let us back out, they might go at it again. So,
right.
in those times it's on site. But when it's not a ongoing feud, then we're cordial, we're respectful with each other.
All right, man. So, you know, um, do you have a story about where something popped off when you didn't even know it was coming, man? You just had to kind of figure out what you're gonna do and how you're gonna go.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of stories, man. And sometimes, okay, when things pop off, you get a hint of it if in the event, say a white Crip or a a white Crip or a white blood or a white or a Mexican Crip pulls up, because the other races, if so, say you have a white Crip, he's running with the blacks.
Right.
The white inmates, they will see him as a race traitor.
Okay.
And so when he hits the yard, you once you find out, okay, it's a white Crip on the yard, you kind of know it's going, you automatically know it's
Something's
tension in
gonna
the air,
pop off.
and it's
Yeah.
going to be something behind that. But now,
Right.
say for instance that maybe one of your friends is walking and he happened to bump into a Mexican and they just start fighting. Something like that can break out spontaneously. And in California prisons, no race is allowed to put their hands on another race.
Okay.
So if you look up and you see a Hispanic and a black fighting, when everybody else see it, everybody gonna run over there. It's gonna be a big
Right.
giant riot. So there's been
Right.
situations like that will happen spontaneously, and you just gotta, you gotta get up and start fighting. One time, okay, my homie had made a bet with an Asian, and he bets it was a silly bet that the Lakers wouldn't make the playoffs. So the Asian happened to be getting, by no fault of his own, he's transferring. So they'll never have a chance to even see if this bet's going to play out or not,
Right.
because the Asian is leaving. The Lakers record was looking kind of bad. And so my homie wants to get paid. You can't get paid on this. The bet's not over.
Right.
So he went over there and punched the Asian, and a big race riot jumped off behind that.
Oh,
We was outside playing basketball. One of my homies, a dude from Long Beach said, "Hey man, don't look over there. People is fighting." But now when somebody tell you don't look, you gotta look. So I happen to look and I see it's my homie fighting, and I see a bunch of brown people around him. So I run over there. Initially, I think that he's fighting with the Hispanics because for the most part, we get along with the Asians and we have an alliance with them. So,
Right.
I'm not assuming that he's fighting Asians. But when I get over there, I realize that it's Asians. And so stuff like that, when it happens spontaneous, you
Right.
have to react,
Right.
And then
Okay, man. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
at the end of the story was crazy because at the end of the story, the Lakers end up making the playoffs. So my homie was entirely wrong for going over there and doing that anyway. That's the dumb type of stuff sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
And, you have a lot of grown kids and people who don't have conflict resolution skills and stuff like that. And this, a lot of that stuff can be prevented.
Right. All right, man. So, hey, man, you're at Brownwood, Ironwood. You're at Ironwood, right? Okay, so now you're at Ironwood, man. And at what point does it start? The light starts shimmering in your head that you know what? It's doable, man. Me getting out is doable. At what point does that start happening?
That didn't come along to probably about 2011, somewhere around there, 2012.
Okay. So how did that happen? Did the lawyer come and talk to you, or did you just start? Did they present you with a program, or what happened? Somebody talked to you in prison? How did that happen?
Well, to make it real short, you had a lot of lifers who had been in, who may have had 7 to life sentence, who had been in for 25, 30 years. A lot of these lifers started filing these lawsuits. Some of these lawsuits were ruled in the favor of the lifer, and then that helped. Then they also started revamping the parole board, getting rid of commissioners who had a high number of denials. And so a bunch of things just came together at once. And then they started instituting a lot of self-help classes, because like I say, when I first came to prison, it wasn't about rehabilitation, So a bunch of things came together. They started letting lifers go home. And so once I started seeing these other dudes get out, then I believed, okay, well, dang, maybe I can go home. So I started cleaning my act up,
Okay. Now you start saying cleaning your act up. What exactly does that mean?
Well, just staying in trouble. I made a conscious decision to step away from the collective that I ran with. I ran with the collective, which is known as the Inland Empire, which is anybody from San Bernardino County and Riverside County who chose to run with that collective. If you was from the IE, we didn't force you to run with it. You could do your own thing. So I chose to step away from those guys, and it was hard. And I realized that I was scared to step away, but I wasn't scared to step away. It wasn't a physical fear. It was a fear of, I've been in prison for so long and I've been seen as a gang member. What are people going to think about me? You know what I'm saying? It was more of a reputation type thing, and especially, when I'm, being in prison and hearing, okay, well, that dude, he don't hang with the homies no more. He's a Christian. So hearing the negative things saying about the person, so because gang banging is all about your reputation,
Right.
And so
that's what I was going to ask you, brother. How important is reputation in prison or in gangbanging, or how is it? How important is that?
It's top of the list, because once you don't have a reputation, now you can't survive. You can't be respected. And I used to have a homie, and one of his sayings was, "It takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and it takes one time to mess it up." And so, you could be a rider from 1985 to 2010, but the second you turn down a fade or you do something that's seen as cowardice in the eyes of others, everything you done in the past, they don't care about that. Now you're a buster, you're a mark, and so your reputation is pretty much all you have. Your reputation and your word. Keeping your word in prison is extremely important. Not everybody does it, but once you don't have a reputation, now people are trying you, they're testing you. You get a reputation of not wanting to defend yourself. you might as well, ask to be moved to protective custody.
And when you get moved in protective custody, is that frowned upon?
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do in prison. That's the worst thing you can do in prison, because now you are seen by your peers as a person who can't cut it.
Oh, okay.
You marked out. I mean, you was big and bad when you had the gun, or when you was, when the numbers were in your favor. But now that the numbers aren't in your favor, now you want to take the easy route out.
Ah, okay. All right, man. So now you starting to see, man. Hey, I had to clean my act up, meaning, stop hanging with the crowd that's kind of getting into trouble. And what other things are you doing? Are you going to school? Are you working? Or what other stuff are you doing to try to show these people that you can be let out and it's not gonna be no problem?
Well, what they wanted us to do is they started coming up with a lot of these self-help programs. It was a program by the name of LTOP, and it was an acronym for long-term offenders pilot program. And basically, the self-help had a lot of just like self-recognition patterns of things that we could do to possibly improve our shortcomings and stuff. So they wanted us to go to these classes. You get these certificates. Some of the classes were anger management, conflict resolution,
Right.
drug classes, alcohol management,
Right.
just things like that. Another one was something to violence. I can't remember, but basically just different ways to deal with violence and stuff when they come. Alternative to violence, that was the name of the class. And so just stuff like this. But not only did they want you to go to these classes and get these certificates, when you went to the board, they wanted you to be able to at least to be able to explain some of this stuff, because some people would just go for the chrono. They give you a chrono, a certificate of completion. But then when you go to the parole board, they would ask you, well, hey, how would you deal with this violent situation? I see that you got a chrono, and if you couldn't explain and internalize it, they would say, oh man, they'd give you a denial. So you had to take these classes, and they also wanted you to stay disciplinary free. That was a major big part of being found suitable. They wanted you to not have a write up for about at least 5 years.
Wow. 5 years.
And that's extremely hard in prison, because prison, like I said earlier, is so spontaneous. Anything could happen. Then you're dealing with all these other different inmates. Not only then you're dealing with a lot of these petty police officers, who'll write you up on a whim. They write you up and say you did this, and your word is not going to be believed. And of course, the police, they're human. They tell lies. Sometimes they're emotional. They get upset and might be having a bad day. One time I was going to this new job. This police, he was having a bad day. He went to yelling and talking crazy to me. The only reason I didn't go off on him is because I had a cell phone. And when you talk crazy to the police, one of the things they like to do, they like to have your cell searched as an act of retribution.
Right.
But then later, so I didn't talk no crap to him because I had a cell phone. So later on, he came back and he apologized to me. He said, "Hey man, my bad. I was on the phone with my girl. I was having a bad day." But that's something like that is extremely rare. And I shared that story to say that sometimes we're at the whim and the mercy of a guard's feelings.
Yeah.
He may have been having a bad day and just come in here and take it out on us.
Yeah. Man. All right. We're gonna take a quick break, and just listen to this is the artist 16 to Life. This brother's got a unique story. We just telling a little bit of it here. You can go to his page and subscribe over there and really hear. He's got a lot of funny stories. But we're gonna listen to a little bit of his music here.
Planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again. Rededication. Can't get ovation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound. And I shoot quick and it ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the
This is from a song called Relapse.
Ski mask with the case, squeezing keys out, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
Okay, man, that's so I want to play the whole thing, well, brother Eric. I want to, but man, I can only play some of it, man.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's from a song called Relapse. And go check out 16 to Life. He's got music up there. Go subscribe to his page. Man, his brother, very talented brother. You can listen to him. He can tell stories, man, and he's only telling a little bit of the story here. Go to his page. He's got many more funny stories over there. Um, Not that he's making prison funny, but he's definitely brings the light to it so that people can see that yeah, it's tough, but you can get through it. You know what I mean? Because we got brothers and sisters down there that some of them are thinking that there's no way to get through it, and they need to see a brother that actually been through it. That he thought there's no way I'm going home, and he ended up home. So we're gonna get to that. We're getting to that right now. We're trying to round the corner so we can get to that. Okay, brother Eric. So you're finally realizing you're taking these classes and you're going through and you're doing everything and you staying sugar free until you get to the point where you go to the parole board. So tell us about the first time you went to the parole board. Tell us about the first time you went to the parole board.
Okay, well, briefly, when it was initially the first time for me to go to the parole board, I postponed it, and then it was time for me to go again. I postponed it again, and then
Okay, brother Eric. Why are you postponing these parole board meetings?
because like I said, when I first hit the prison, I didn't never think I was going home. So I'm getting in trouble and stuff, and
Okay.
I'm not taking these self-help classes. So the whole time I was in prison, like I said, for me it was happy-go-lucky. When it was time for me to go to the parole board, actually I was shook up because, like I said, I got an attempted murder and then I got a murder. I don't have no clue of what I'm supposed to go in here and tell these people. Now I didn't realize, like, dang man, I didn't give these dudes all this control over my life. And it was so nerve-wracking to me that I didn't even want to deal with it. So I postponed
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So
Good.
the next time I postponed it too. The next time I wanted to go the third time, but I had just got out of the hole. I'd got into a riot. And so my lawyer said, hey man, I'd advise you to go in here and to take a postponement, or they're going to give you. Now, by that time, they had voted in where they could give a person a 3-year denial, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 3, 7, 5, 10, or even a 15-year denial. So
Ooh.
imagine doing 16, 17 years, and you go to the board and they tell you, hey man, you've been messing up, you're not ready, don't even come back for another 10 years.
Right. Right.
So to avoid that, I took because I wanted to try to postpone it for a year, but they wouldn't agree to anything under a 5-year denial. They said, because if he comes to the board and if he comes before us, he'll probably get a lengthy denial. So they agreed to stipulate for 5 years that I wasn't ready, and so I had to take that. So initially, though, when I finally did go the very, very first time, now they started, like I said, they've started bringing up these self-help programs, and I'm very confident now because I went to these classes, I've internalized them, I've been talking to other lifers, and now I have an understanding of what I need to do and what I need to say. So when I went to my first parole hearing, unfortunately, maybe 2 or 3 months before that, I had got into it with a free staff. And she wrote me up, and she didn't give me. It's like she basically gave me a documented warning, but just due to that documented warning, they gave me a 3-year denial.
Oh,
And so then I you know I so now they have it too where if you get a 3-year denial or a 5 or a 7, you can stay out of trouble for maybe about 12 months and put in what's called a petition to advance your hearing. And so I put in a petition to advance my hearing, and they brought me back in probably about 16, 17 months. So the next time when I went to the parole board, I went in there and I got a date. They found me suitable. And like I said, initially, luckily for me, I just happened to get sentenced at the right time because, like I said earlier, you had some dudes who had been in there 25, 30 years. And, every time they go, they would get denied. So a lot of these dudes had lost hope. A lot of them had come, just angry and upset at the board. And so they didn't do the necessary steps to put themselves in a
right.
position when the door finally did open because
Right.
they had become very skeptical.
Right. Right. So when you went to the parole board the first time, they gave you 3-year denial. Okay. In that 3 years, you worked hard, you did what you had to do, you took care of business, and then the next time you got in front of the parole board, What were you thinking when you were sitting there in front of them, man? And they shooting you all them different questions.
I'm thinking I'm pretty much going home because, like I say, by that time I had gained the confidence, I had put in the work, I'd gained the knowledge, I kind of knew what the board wanted to hear. I had been reading religiously. They had these pamphlets that 3 or 4 different organizations would put out on going to the board and what you had to do. So I was
Right.
extremely confident that I had put in the work. I stayed out of trouble, but during the hearing, they once again started questioning me about that disrespecting staff write up I had got previously at my last hearing. And then I'm like, oh my God, the dude was just on me. He was
Right.
hammering me and asking me all these questions. And then so I didn't think that I was gonna I didn't think I was gonna get out because he was, he kept chipping away and asking me about that.
Okay, brother. So if I'm hearing you right, you're saying you were prepared. The
Right.
opportunity presented itself, and instead of like the first time you weren't that prepared, you studied, you read, you were just you know, mentally on it, ready to present in the proper way, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. So the guy stand on you about the disciplinary incident notwithstanding, when do you find out that, hey man, the door is gonna open for you?
Oh, well, in California, the good thing is after you have the hearing, after they go in there and question you and whatever, they'll deliberate and you'll get the decision probably in 30 minutes or an hour.
Oh
So,
wow, okay.
right. So they called me back in there and gave me the decision and let me know that they had found me suitable. That's what they call it when they say that you're eligible to go home. They say we find you suitable for parole.
Okay. Okay. So when you hear that, what's going through your head, man?
Oh man, honestly, I said I finally got these crackers. That's the first thing that comes to my head, man. These crackers finally let me. I got these crackers, man.
Oh man, okay, so man, you thinking to yourself, man, hey man, I finally did it, man. I finally made it. I finally presented myself in a way that they can see me as able to hit the bricks, right? So
Right.
now they tell you, hey, okay, we gonna let you out, or do they tell you that? What exactly does that mean? Suitable? What's gonna happen after that? What does that mean?
And like I say, by that time I was well aware of the process. Like I say, they had started letting several lifers out, and I forgot to add one important thing too. They also by that time had came up with something that was called the youth offender parole hearing, and they gave me one of those. And that's basically they had done some study that shows that the brain doesn't fully develop until a person is 25. So the
Okay,
part of the brain that has a greater appreciation for the consequences of your actions. To help you mature and to also stop a person from being so impulsive is not developed until the age of 25. So
right.
under that study, me fortunately, I had committed my crime when I was under the age of 25. So they was given great consideration and weight to those circumstances, and so that was something else that was extremely helpful. So like I say, by the time I go to the board, I know all this stuff is in my favor, and I know if they don't let me out this time, as long as I stay out of trouble, they're eventually going to let me out. So like I said,
Right.
they find me suitable. So now I know in my situation that now if you have life for an attempted murder or a kidnapping, you have to wait 3 months for your decision is final. If you have life for a murder, you have to wait 5 months before it's final. And like I said, unfortunately, too, if you're in jail for a murder, the uh, the governor still has the authority to revoke your
Oh,
parole. Now,
okay.
with me, since my life sentence was for an attempted murder, the governor couldn't do that with me. The only thing he could do to me is he could send me to a on bank hearing, which is basically he says, okay, I disagree with the findings of the parole board, and now I want all the 12 commissioners to listen to this stuff and hear it, and they decide on it. But
Okay.
but for the most part, as long as you wasn't in jail for killing a baby or a helpless woman or a
Right.
police officer, the judge wasn't going to. I mean, excuse me, the governor wasn't going to rescind your suitability hearing.
Right.
So I know now that I have these 3 months to wait, and more than likely I'm going home. So I'm waiting for this time, and so and now after when I left the parole board and I'm going back to because at this time I'm in a dorm now. I'm going back to the dorm. Everything feels normal now. It doesn't feel like I'm no longer excited because at this point I have been in jail almost 24 years, and so
Wow.
now it's just back to normal program. Like okay,
Okay.
it didn't even feel like I had been found suitable, and
Okay.
so now I'm just doing my time, waiting for this time to pass so I can get out. Now, once it gets to about once I get to about my third month and I still hadn't heard nothing, then I start becoming antsy now. I start wondering
Right.
what's going on because one of my friends had got found suitable and he heard his decision probably in about 90 days.
Okay.
So I went well past the 90 days. So I'm like wondering, but at different times of the year, different things is going on. So the governor may have had more time to get to his case sooner than mine. So eventually, they called me in the office. They let me know that the governor has chose to not take any action and that I'm definitely going home for sure. And so I called my family, let them know, I'm coming home and I was pretty much so after that point, you have about a week wait and you get released and you're out of there.
Okay. So what do they do? They just come in your cell and say, "Oh, you're going to be gone in a week," or do they send you a letter, or do they send you something formal, or what? How does that work, brother?
Yeah, we'll see. We have counselors in there, and
Okay.
so a counselor basically like a case manager. So he'll
Okay.
call you over. He'll call you over and say, "Okay, hey, well, the governor chose not to take any action, so you're going home. You know, you have you sign some papers. You're going home next Tuesday. And
Okay.
so they give you a heads up. Before all this happens, you can have, once you get found suitable, you can let your family know, okay, they can send you a package to dress out, some clothes that you want to wear. They send you some personal clothes and all that old type of stuff. So once once I found out that the governor wasn't going to take no action, I called my family and let them know. And basically, that's how they do it. You go see your counselor, and basically, he gets on the computer and he looks and sees and lets you know.
Okay. Okay. So now it's real.
Right,
You going home.
right.
You going home. You called your family, tell them, "Hey, look, I'm 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 going home."
Hmm.
What was that first hug? Well, let me ask first, brother. Was your mom still alive?
Yes, yes. My father, unfortunately, he passed away in 2003, but my mom she's still alive. So she came and picked me up.
Okay, blessing. That's a blessing, brother. So, what was that like, man, when you stepped out of there and you first seen your mom? You was well, that first hug, man. What was that like, man? To get that love coming, straight at you, brother.
Like for me, I still couldn't believe it. Like some cats who I've talked to since then. I have a lot of friends who've also had parole, and a lot of them told me they couldn't sleep and they was up all night. Man, I went to sleep and slept like a baby. And you know, I just couldn't believe it. I'm sitting. So eventually, they process me and you know, ask me my social security and a whole bunch of this stuff to make sure it's me. They send you through all this, and
Right.
it's still like I just still couldn't believe it. Like, man, I'm finally out of here. So then they took me to the front, and they having me sitting in a part of the visiting room where when we get visits, our family comes in. So
Right.
and like my mom, she couldn't come on the ground until a certain time. So, they woke me up like 6 o'clock in the morning. So now I'm waiting for her just to come. And so
Right.
finally she comes, you know, I I walk outside and it was just, man, it was almost unbelievable. And so I was in San Luis Obispo, so she came up
Okay.
there and picked me up. So she had rented her and my aunt came up, and they had rented a hotel because the drive is like a 6 hour drive.
Right.
So
Right.
we went back there and because it's early in the morning, and so I just remember, every 2 or 3 minutes, I kept just I'm nervous, I keep looking out the window. I'm looking out the window. And like I say, I hadn't been in a car for 24 years. So my mom doing 60, 65, 70 miles an hour, that's scary because I hadn't been in a car in forever.
Right.
So and I'm just all these things is now playing back in my mind. And like so at some point my mom say, why do you keep going to the window? I don't know. I just every 2 seconds I'm looking out the window. And so it was just, it was just shocking to be free after all that time. And I just really couldn't believe it.
Oh man. So I gotta ask you, brother, what was your first meal after you got out, brother? What did you eat first, brother?
Well, hey, I knew that question was coming, right? And so I wanted to because now when I get out, the very next day I had to go report to what's called as a transitional house. And it's
Right.
just like a house to help us get reacclimated back with society. And so, like I say, I'm about 6 hours away. So I want to hurry up and get home and spend as much time as I can with my family before I have to turn myself in. But I know that my mom, she's older, my aunt is older, and then my niece came. I know they want to eat. So we went to IHOP. And
IHOP.
I had never been big on pancakes anyway, and then up in there every Sunday we got pancakes, and the pancakes were horrible. So I was finished with pancakes. So anyway, we go to IHOP, and the crazy thing is, man, I'm so nervous up in there I can't eat. I don't know why. I had a feeling that some white dude was just come up in there and shoot the place up. I've been seeing this on the news, and I'm just uncomfortable. I think that I honestly think that I've been carrying a gun probably ever since I was about 15, 16. So just being free, not having a gun, and just seeing how the world has changed, I just felt unsafe,
Right.
Felt extremely unsafe. And for a long time, I was kind of mad at myself that I had messed up my opportunity to have a gun, because now once you get older, you get mature, you see, like now, to keep it honest, I'm a little fearful of gang members because I'm knowing how crazy they are,
Yeah.
At one point in time, I'd whip out and do anything,
Yeah.
So when you have a feeling that you can't protect yourself, that's an awful feeling, And I was talking to one of my friends the other day. He was a lifer. He paroled in Oakland. He done like 31 years. So he said he was in the McDonald's parking lot, and he said he seen some dude hop out the car with his hand tucked down like he had a gun. And he said the dude ran up to, he said, man, chill. He said, I thought the dude was coming to get me. The dude ran past his car, ran up in the McDonald's and shot somebody in Oakland. And he said, man, man, that's it. I told him I got to go get a gun. I had, he said, now, and I said, well, man, just be extremely careful. And he said, well, yeah, I have my girlfriend carry it in her purse. But I say all that to say, just to when you feeling vulnerable, because when you was out doing something and now you can recognize that stuff.
Right.
So we're older. We see these young dudes creeping and making the same moves. It's terrifying,
Right.
It's terrifying because you know that these dudes will whip out and and now, like I say, now they care less about shooting than we did. Back then, we was looking for certain individuals. These people now, they'll spray up the whole place and don't care,
Right.
So that is when you've lived in that element, you're definitely fearful of that world now, And so I think that played a part of me being nervous in the IHOP, worried about, because I'm seeing on the news, you have these people going up in here, they're shooting the place up, and it's crazy because now I think that for quite a while I was fearful of white people, thinking that, man, this dude was just to pull out a gun. And I remember one time I was working, I went to the transitional house, and we had started this program where we were going to get these construction license. And this white couple pulled up to the church that we was working at and was calling us to directions over. Hey, can you guys? And I didn't go over there, because I thought that you get close to the car, they were just going. I don't know. I think just watching the news, some type of way that fear had got planted in my head.
Right. And so don't let Brother Eric fool you. He's got videos that he's done with white people. And he's just talking about the mentality that he had when he came out.
Right.
Of the thing, man.
Right, because I know I no longer have that now, but and like I say, to be honest, I don't even know where that fear came from. I just guess, you seeing these people shooting up churches and stuff. I don't even know how that, got put in my head like that.
Yeah, man, see, but that's what I was going to ask you about, because I noticed that a lot of brothers, especially that have did like, to some football years, they'll like come out and they'll have like this anxiety, you know what I'm saying? Like this anxiety of, just, and you like, and us, we've been out here. We're like, what's the problem? What's the issue?
Right.
But now you breaking it down and explaining how that anxiety develops, in a cat that, and it takes time for it to go away. Am I right?
Right. And, to be honest, because I consider myself extremely normal, and especially considering some of the people who I've done time with. But once I came home, I realized I was institutionalized in a whole bunch of ways I didn't even realize, because one thing about prison is, with all this madness and this wildness, for the most part, it's a lot of respect up in there, because that element of violence keeps a lot of people in line.
Yeah.
especially on the higher level. The higher level you are, the more dangerous it is. And so people, you could go to the you could go to the canteen in the store and buy $200 worth of stuff and leave it in the middle of the yard. And ain't nobody gonna touch it because they know touching something that's not theirs is the quickest way to lose their life. You
Right.
know, so it's an element of respect that you get in there that you don't get out here. So when I was released, people walking, because in prison also, you don't walk all in a person's personal space, you
Right.
know. But out here, I'm at the grocery store, people reaching all over my head to grab cabbage and running up behind me. I remember when I first got out, I was in the Sizzler washing my hands, and somebody came running up behind me, and I spent around with
Right.
not used to that type of stuff,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like every time I'm in a restaurant, I sit with my back to the wall. It's just a whole
Right.
lot of things. I started realizing, like, dang, I am messed up far more than I realize it.
Right, right, right. But hey, man, it's a new day out here, man. You kind of got to be like that now, man, because there's so much stuff going on, man. You gotta have your eyes open all the time, man, all
Right.
the time. Okay, brother. So now you out. Now you out. You in a transitional house, and how does that go? How's living? Is that dorms or rooms or what? How's that go?
Well, the transitional house that I happened to be at was two big old giant trailers on a church property. It was in Lake Elsinore, and
Okay,
they had a pastor and assistant pastor, and they'd get there about 6 in the morning, and they'd leave like about 3:30 in the afternoon, and it was no other supervision, and so it was cool. Then I happened to get there. I happened to be in there with a couple people who I'd done time with, and it was just, man, it was a blessing. We could have cell phones. And so
okay,
I'd stay up to 3 or 4 in the morning on my cell phone talking to people and stuff. And
right.
so, it was just a blessing.
All right. Well, so now you out of the transition house, man, and you out here on your own, man. How's life, man? How's things?
Life is good, man. And I think that being in prison, a lot of people, a lot of us had fears that we wouldn't be able to go out and get a job. And the jobs are plentiful out here, and they got something that's called ban the box, which basically prevents the future employer for asking a person about, if you haven't committed a crime in the last 7 years, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
My crime is from 94, and so the parole officer, he asked me when I get out, he said, "When's the last time you were convicted of a crime?" I said, "In 96." He said, "Well, see, you haven't committed a crime in the last 7 years." And so, it's good being out, man. I done had several jobs and stuff,
Okay.
and so I definitely enjoy it.
All right, brother. Um, what is the? Because I'm gonna ask you about your music last. What is the outlook for you as far as your what you want to do with yourself, man? What do you want to do? What are some goals for brother Eric? What's some goals?
Oh man, basically my goals are extremely minimal and simplistic, man. Just to stay free, enjoy my family, enjoy my freedom and the things that this world has to offer. Put up a little bit of money, save me
Right?
some money to for my retirement and stuff
Of
like
course.
that. And just enjoy life, man. Just you never can make up for lost time, but you can definitely just enjoy and create good memories and stuff for the future. So that's just my plans and goals, to chill with my family. And because one thing I think I failed to mention for your younger audience or who may be listening, when you go to prison, all your homies and all them people, nobody's there for you. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
just to enjoy and appreciate it and show the people who were there for me when I was in prison that I appreciate them.
Okay. And then that's another thing I want to ask you real quick. In your opinion, because I know a lot of times people make prison look cool. Would you? What is your outlook on prison as far as you know people going there, young people going there, man? Or what's your outlook on that?
I got a few of them, but first and foremost, prison is an extremely big waste of time, man. You know what everybody in prison is doing? They trying to get out. You got dudes in there kicking the door. I didn't seen literally grown men kicking and crying to get to the to go to the law library. So it's ironic that we live a life knowing it's going to lead us to prison, lead us to a place that no one wants to be, and then when we get back out, we act like it's a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. And a lot of that comes from trying to impress people, trying to impress the wrong people. Like I said, you have dudes literally in there, man, dying and kicking down the door to try to go to that law library and fight their way up out of there. And so when you get to prison too, you may have 3 or 4 of your homies who look out for you and send you money periodically. But if they're out there gang banging and doing the stuff they're really supposed to do as a gang member, they're not gonna last long either. They're gonna be in jail with you, or they're gonna be dead. And they're going to be dead. And then, because like I say, you may have a gang, say, just to make the numbers simple, you might have 50 people in your gang. Really only about 10 of them is really with the business. The rest of the 40 is faking. So when your other homies see, oh dang, this Fred just got 50 to life, Johnny just got killed, them dudes is gonna start falling by the wayside. Them dudes is to start having families, getting jobs, maturing, moving on. They gonna forget about you. So you, like they say, you find out who really care about you either when you're in jail or when you're in the hospital. And so for the youngsters, man, it's sad because we all caught up trying to impress other people and live. We all become characters. We turn into people that were not raised to be, trying to impress somebody on the corner that don't care about you. And then I had, a few of my homies, older dudes who I would look up to, and those dudes end up getting on the stand and testifying. One of my friends told on my other friend and got him the death penalty. So, these dudes are encouraging us to live a life they're really not about, and so, like I say, a few times I've seen dudes, and I would try to talk to some dudes up in there. Hey, man, I got life. I've been in jail 17 years. Get out and chill out, man. That dude might be back in 4 or 5 months. I seen one dude get out and come back with more time than I had, and it's sad that sometimes people being around people with all that time, they still don't, that's still not enough for it to sink into them, that this lifestyle is extremely useless and wasteful.
All right, brother, before I get into the music, is there anything you think that could help some of these guys realize, even in prison, or maybe the ones that's outside of prison, that could make them realize, or at least put in, get them to start thinking about what you just said? Is there anything that you think that would help them see that better or clearer?
Well, to me, my answer is long, but the short end of it is, I think we have to have more family structure, man. We have to go back to like we were back in the 60s and 70s, and we have to have these adult males, people be positive influences in our lives, in our communities. I had a great father, but one thing I realized would have been more helpful. My father let me do as I pleased a whole lot, especially when I was young. I was carefree and lucky and stuff. I think a little bit, if he had installed a little bit of more work ethic into me, you know what I'm saying? Let me play and all that stuff, but still take me outside, teach me how to do this, teach me how to do that. That would have been more helpful, So the males, we really have to play a more positive role in the lives of the youngsters around us. You know what I'm saying? We have to stop glamorizing and glorifying things that are that could be problematic and eventually lead us to prison or lead us to a quick early grave. We have to stop celebrating things that should be that should be condemned and stuff like that. People who have been out there in the street, who have been through the struggle, they have to speak the real. They have to tell people what prison is and what it's like. Because like I say, all these dudes is crying to get out. These dudes ain't gonna tell you how he went back. He went back to the cell crying because he found out his homie is messing with his girl. They not gonna tell you all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're so caught up in being macho and being tough that we hide our feelings. And then, Brother Clarence, I don't know how old you are, but I know you grew up in a time where it was
53, brother. I'm 53. I'm right there.
Yeah. So we grew up when our older brothers, cousins, homies, neighbors, they made us feel we had to be a certain way to be a man.
Right.
hide your feelings, don't be scared. And so for the people like myself who took that stuff to heart, you know,
Yeah.
it led me down the wrong path.
Yeah.
You know, and so because as a man, you can only stuff your emotions for so long. You know, eventually that's going to have to come out, you know, just like a trash can. No matter how
Right.
big the trash can, at some point in time, you're going to have to empty it.
Right.
So if I'm not allowed to show my feelings, I'm not allowed to be emotional. That's why you have so many people out there shooting and doing violence, because it has to come out. It hurts. It hurts to see somebody you knew all your life in a casket.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's how it, you know, that's how the gangs are formed, because, you know, one of my homegirls got killed at the age of 14. When I was 14, she was 16. So, you know, Brother Clarence, back in our day, hurting a woman or calling a woman out of her name, that was a no-no.
No.
So, you
Yeah.
know, so for me to see somebody I've been knowing all my life in a casket, my anger started to, you know, started to show itself differently. So I can't cry, because now people are going to ridicule me for crying. So
Right.
now I have no problem shooting at somebody, because I feel they're gonna do it to me. Them is the same people that killed my homeboy, killed my homegirl. And so it's stuff like that that turns us into gang members unknowingly. You know what I'm saying? People who don't have a conscience of hurting other people, because we're not allowed to show emotion.
Man, brother, that was beautiful, man. I'm definitely probably gonna clip that, man. That was beautiful, man. A beautiful explanation of that situation, man. I appreciate you for that, man.
Right.
All right, brother. We have gone from top to bottom, and so now we at the point I wanted to always conclude on a good note, man. Let's talk about the music, man. Let's talk about the music. How did you get into the music, man?
Well, you know, I've been a
Wait a
I've
minute. Wait, brother. Let me play a little bit of it again, man. Let me play a little bit of it again, man.
Planet shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again. Rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like the hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like the bazooka sound. And I shoot quicker than they gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, three straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys out, spraying everything from the nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
Oh man, that is from 16 to Life, and that is from a song called Relapse. Man. You guys got to go to 16 to Life, go to his page, download the music, man. Get a brother a little something for his efforts and his time, man. Let's support the brother so that he can, you know what I'm saying, be a testimony to these other cats that's out here trying to make it as well. All right, brother Eric, how'd you get into the music, man? You obviously got skills, man. How did you get here, man?
I started off loving music, man. I would say, I mean, rap music from probably about The Message, you know, the Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis
Right.
Blow, the breaks and stuff. So, you know, I've been rapping for a long time, man. And you know, Ice Cube, NWA,
Right.
Jay-Z, Biggie Smalls, whoever, you know, all these rappers, you know, I love all these rappers, man. Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, Run DMC. And so, you know, I've been rapping for a long time, and just you know, over the years, just honing my skills, you know, just rapping and, you know, so eventually, you know, I started going to the studio and stuff, and I made a couple of you know, tapes just for me and my homies just to play in the car, and then I ended up going to prison and getting out. But throughout all that time, I never lost my passion for rap, you know. So
Okay.
just in jail, in prison, rapping, you know, a lot of people who I was locked up with, they know I'm notorious for winning rap contests in every prison that I went to and stuff like that. And so just, you know, and it was crazy, Brother Clarence, because sometimes, you know, I'd be writing these raps, and after a while I'd get a little discouraged, because I say, man, I'm never fit to get out. I'm never fit to be able to use this stuff. And so I had stopped rapping for a while. But through the grace of God, you know, I've been able to come home free. And so I just hopped back in the studio and never lost the passion for it. And so the rap game has changed a whole lot, you know. The music has changed, the beats has changed and stuff. So I'm having a little trouble trying to find producers who make the type of music that I make, and
Right.
I mean the type of music that I like, the beats and stuff. But
Right.
outside of that, it's just, you know, just you know, just never losing my passion for the music.
Okay, so when did you say, man, you know what, I probably could make a little money at this? How did you come to that conclusion? Because we all think we can rap, but How
Well,
did you?
like I say, I never lost my love for it, and then the music has changed, but I've always you know, encounter people who like the type of rap that I like. And
Right,
so I said, well, even though rap has changed, there's still people out here who enjoy, the type of hip hop that I do. And I'm not necessarily talking about the negative per se. I'm talking about where the lyrics have meaning and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Nowadays, some of these dudes is rapping, and to me it makes no sense, but I still encourage them because it's still something positive. It's
right,
not like when rap first came out, there was people calling that garbage. So of course,
right.
people is gonna have different tastes, but just just still feeling that I could get out and do a little something, even though I'm 50. So I just
Right.
always felt that, there would be people to enjoy, the type of music that I'm making. And so I would like to say to the people that's out there listening, I have a lot of positive music too. So you can go and go to YouTube, type in 16 to Life music. I have a song called Go From Here that's very positive. I have a song called By My Side, which is a good song about, my mom sticking by my side when I was rapping. Um, Also, I have a song called "A Queen," and it's talking about my love for African women, beautiful sisters. So some of the music is positive, but I also do I do a little bit of everything. So definitely be sure to check me out. I got a good song called "The Revolution," that's talking about police brutality and stuff. That a lot of the blacks experience.
Yeah, yeah. Brothers got some good music over there. If you guys can go over there and check him out. I just put 16 to Life music in the chat. You guys can go over there and check him out over there. And man, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna you will not be sorry, man. This dude's got a lot of good music over there. Okay,
Oh, and
brother
real
Eric.
quick, if I could add too, I got a
Yeah,
song called "Never Gave Me Therapy," and that's on all major streaming sites: Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all that. The name of the song is "Never Gave Me Therapy." If you want to check that out too.
yeah. My one of my favorites is relapse therapy, and there's another one. There's another one. I can't think of what
Never
it
Tell
is.
by My Side. It's tax time. Surrender that money.
Surrender that money. Surrender that money is a good one too.
Uh, uh,
Um,
I
but
got one too
man, you got
called Bass Rock, the Mozzie Challenge. So I don't,
no,
I don't.
no, no. Here's the you got what's it called? Something biz. Is it banning business?
Oh, Bangtown Business. Oh,
Baytown business.
Bangtown
Baytown
Business. Yeah,
business.
that's
That's another
that's a
good one.
rap group that I'm in with me and a friend of mine by the name of Co Loc. Yeah, everybody wants some Cali and a song called "I'm from Bannon." Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I got videos of those too, so you guys go
Yeah. I
hit
watched
the
the
YouTube
video.
page.
I
And,
caught
yeah.
the video. Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm just saying, do you have representation, man, or are you just do everything on your own right now, or how are you navigating through this music business, man?
Well, right now I'm just doing everything on my own. And before I went to prison, they didn't have social media. Now that they have it, I'm just trying to utilize that, and hopefully, maybe somebody will like it and get at me. But if not, I'm just making music for myself and for the people that like the type of stuff that I make. But yeah, right now I'm just independent.
Okay, brother. My suggestion to you, brother, is if you can, make some clean versions of a lot of your music, out of here, out
Right.
of here. And that's how I feel about it, man. Because it's good music, and it's got good, everything. It's just like I said, it's hard to have the cuss words, because they can't context it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we as adults can context that stuff, but they can't context it, man. So what's the plan for your music? Do you have any plans on promoting your music, or going to shows, or doing shows, or having some type of online show, or what are you doing to how do you promote the music? And if somebody wants to get involved with you, are you open to at least exploring the opportunity of working with someone to help you promote your situation?
Most definitely. I'm open to the possibility of writing for someone else, working with someone else, all that type of stuff. So if in the event a person is interested in working with me in any type of capacity, please email me at 16 to life music at gmail.com. 16 to life music. If you 16 to life music at gmail.com. And if you want me to feature on your song, maybe write something for me.
Yes.
I also do R&B and that type of stuff too. I don't sing, but I write in my my stuff is just as good as my rap. So, like I say right now, with the climate of rap, to be honest, it's a little dangerous going out there trying to do shows for free. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
definitely sticking more to the YouTube type stuff because,
Right.
unfortunately, like I say, I know the element this stuff brings in. A lot of people feel that they're not, once again, trying to impress people. They're not doing nothing if they're not beefing and talking this and talking that. So, like I say, it all just depends on where the show would be at.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do a show right there in your house, man. Just put
Oh
the
yeah,
mics
most
up and
definitely.
and just showcase some of your music, man. That's
Right.
what I was thinking of.
That's a great idea. That's something that I actually never thought of, which is a great idea.
Yeah, man. Just showcase and have people come over there for free, and then they could at the bottom they could download if they want to all of your tracks. They could get to all your tracks, and like you said, they could see some of your talent because brother, people just don't realize how talented you are, and then so they could see that, and then I think you would be highly sought after to do some features. I think so. I mean,
And
man,
thank you. I appreciate it. And which you just reminded me to mention that I have a website that you can go to, 16tolife.com. And on there, I have my music for sale. I have some merchandise for my YouTube page, some t-shirts, some hoodies. I have CDs for sale, flash drives. So that's 16tolife.com. It's my website.
okay, I just put it in the chat, brother. So
Okay.
16tolife.com.
Right.
Is that how it's spelled right? Do I
Right.
have it spelled right?
Let me see there. Yeah, that's it right there. 16tolife.com.
Okay, yes, sir. All right. So basically, let me see if I got this straight, man. You're available for features. You can do some ghostwriting. You can do your own shows, and you can you can help produce. You can do some producing and some writing. And
Right. Well, not producing, but writing.
okay. So some writing help other artists put their stuff out there.
Get they bar game up. Right. If lyrics ain't too good, you need some great creativity. Come get at me, man. I definitely can help you improve on your stuff.
All right, brother Eric, man. I appreciate you, man. You came through, man, like a champ, man. And it took us a while to get it going, man. But I
Right,
knew it was
right,
gonna be worth the wait, man. I knew it was
right.
gonna be worth the wait. Okay, so y'all, I'm gonna give y'all one last. I know y'all want it, so I'm gonna give it to you one last time.
Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love. The streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like the hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound. And I shoot quick and it ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse. And return to the G-Ride, 3 straps. Ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps. Spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse. And return to the
All right, man. I'm gonna end up playing the whole song, man. So I gotta stop right there, brother Eric. I appreciate you, man, for coming through, man. And I hope this won't be the last time we can communicate, brother, because I see big things in front of you, man, and I think I may need to help on a few things, brother, from music to other different things, man. So I'll definitely going to keep in touch with you, man. You have any last words, man, you want to give to the world?
Oh man, I just want to tell first and foremost again, I want to thank you, brother Clarence, for reaching out to me and letting me come and be on your show, man. I deeply appreciate it, man. And I would like to ask your listeners, man, to definitely go to YouTube and check me out, 16 to Life. I got a lot of funny stories. I got a lot of real
Man.
things to talk about prison. It's real insightful. It's funny. You'll definitely be amused and intrigued. Go check me out. Maybe visit my website. And pretty much that's it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother Eric, for stopping through, giving a good game that you gave, and I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I see that we don't have no question because you probably answered every question that was out there, man. So until the next time, man, can I get your word, man, that we can work something out? You can come back again, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. You know, like I say, I appreciate being on your show, man. And
Right.
exposure is always good, man. And I'm a I'll probably hit you a little later on today or tomorrow,
Okay.
on a day or two, and just get a little more information, you know, about the this technology and stuff, because I need to
Okay.
learn about the Stream Lab and all that and stuff. So
I got you, bro. I got
definitely
you.
hit you with a couple of questions.
I got you, bro. I got you, man. You know, man. You got my number. You got my private number, man. Just hit me up, man. Hit me up.
All right, hey, I appreciate it, man.
Okay, brother. I'm gonna pull you down, man. And thank you for stopping through here.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, brother. You too. Oh man. Oh man. 16 to life. Did he hit a home run? Did he hit a home run? Did he knock it out of the park? Did he knock it out of the park? I mean, the brother hit it out of the park, right? I knew you guys was gonna be disappointed, man. This brother is very funny, brother, man. But very intelligent, man. Very intelligent. His intelligence is, behind the comedy, brother. This brother's a very intelligent brother. Don't let him fool you. He just doesn't have the information about all of this different technology. But brother is very intelligent, very smart, and tells a story so funny, man. He got so many funny stories over there on his site. Go over there to 16 to Life. You can go to his 16 to Life music. You can download his music. Then you can go to his page 16tolife.com. You can get his merch. I mean, man, the brother's very insightful, brother, very insightful, brother, and we appreciate him coming on, telling us a little bit more about the life he lived. Man, he was very upfront about it, man. Very, you know, forthright. You know, man, he didn't have to mention anything, but he told us about it, man. You know why? Because the brother in his heart, man, he wants to see good things happen to people, man. And even though he, like the rest of us, we've all made mistakes, and so, we trying to help people not make those same mistakes. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? Did the brother knock it out of the park? Strong performance, strong performance. As usual. See, I don't play, man. You see people come on my panel, people come on my chat, people come in my I interview them. I don't deal with no wet tissues. I deal with heavy hitters come up in here. Heavy hitters come up here. Try to inspire us to do better, man. So we appreciate that, brother, man. And I hopefully, we'll get him back on here again, man. That's the way I see it. I would definitely want him back on here again, and we talk about some other things. But man, anyway, the brother came on, man. I saw his story. I saw him telling the story one day, and I said, man, I got to get that brother on there. And it took a while. It took a lot of trying, man. It took a lot of trying. But like any busy person, man, he's got a lot of people coming at him all kinds of different ways, front way, sideways, every way. So, he's got a lot of people coming at him. So I was honored that he looked at me as somebody who he would get a time to, for an interview. So appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother Eric. Appreciate you, man. And I will be getting back in touch with you. Okay, you saw it. Brother came in, told his story. What do you think? What do you think? Hopefully we help somebody. Hopefully we help some people. But go support the brother, and because I want brothers to see him that he came out of prison and he's able to support himself. We can get other people to come out of prison, and instead of knocking people upside the head, they will get into, maybe they can get into entertainment, they can get into plumbing or electrical or whatever kind of type of hustle they can get into, so they can get out here and work for themselves and take care of themselves and their families. All right, y'all. That was brother 16 to Life, better known as brother Eric. 16 to Life, and stage name. And so go check him out. And us, of course, you'll see. We'll be on tomorrow morning at 11:45 to do the Let's Talk Better Black Life podcast again. That's going to be the regular show with the news, the hit parade. We got a new segment. I got a new segment now called Death or Violence by Simp. Death or violence by simp is real, and it's becoming a real issue. I want you guys to come out and check that out. And then we got, of course, the Black History Minute, and then we got the Job of the Week, and then we got the main issue or the lead topic. So y'all check that out, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.